What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 207 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Doki Doki.
And joining us for the very first time on this show, to my recollection, Brittney Brombacher.
I forgot the
Fucking Brombacher. Damn it. Oh,
So,
you ruined me
just
forever,
for the
Greg.
record, Brittney Brombacher
Damn it.
from What's Good Games. The reason this is a thing is because years and years and years and years and years and years and years ago, even though she looks like she's 18 right now, I've known Brittney forever from the IGN blogs way back in the day.
Yes.
You were like the original group of like
OG bloggers.
kids, yeah,
the kids.
And I, for some reason, started calling you Brombacher and all that. I kept putting extra B's and R's in it
B's and
everywhere.
R's, yeah, that
and
sounds
then
right.
up until I thought, I'll just say it forever, right? This kid's going nowhere. I'll never have to worry about her. And then she kept hanging on. She's super successful. It's good. And now she comes in with an attitude.
Yeah.
She throws it around all the
only
time.
been
And
10
Greg's
years,
never,
Greg.
I've known Greg forever. He's never pronounced. So now we got to do it. But then it got in your
And
head.
now I'm broken.
Now it's in
you're
your
I
head.
broken.
had it,
Yeah,
and then
it's a
you
virus.
made me second guess it yesterday, and now here I am.
Well, think
a broken man.
think of Bach, like the music, right? Now think of Brom and put Bach and then go do it.
Like,
Brombacher.
There you go.
Oh,
See?
so scared. You sounded so scared when
I don't
you
like
said-
when people
Well, he doesn't
touch
like being
me.
touched.
It's a big
problem
problem
for him.
It's a whole thing.
And
Wow.
then he gets touched all the time.
Now, Tim, I'm sure a lot of video people are looking at this going, where are you interviewing for a job today?
Yeah,
Where?
fancy places, doing fancy things. I want to be a hype man for DJs at weddings. That's it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
all
Okay.
I want to do.
Just the hype man for the wedding DJ.
That's it. Yeah.
Not the wedding DJ. You just want to be like, what's up, everybody?
I
Welcome.
want to be the DJ. I just want to be like the MC, the master of ceremonies for the weddings. It's a thing.
Is it really? Because I feel like that's just the DJ's
The
job.
best weddings I've been to have a DJ and a hype man. Because you need someone playing the music, then you need someone like letting everyone know what they need to do. You
All
know?
right, well, that
It's
song's
like,
going. Let's
how's-
get
how's
Aunt
people supposed to
Lydia
know?
over to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Uncle Paul's falling down.
Well, exactly. That's what you need. That's what you need. No, I am wearing this because today I was supposed to make my debut on Debatable, and we're supposed to dress up a little for that show.
Yeah, correct.
Michael Huber from Easy Allies was supposed to do an episode with me talking about the top 10 E3 hype moments of all time. It was going to be great. He was going to come on here. We were going to do the Resident Evil 2 Spoilercast together, but then
But it turns out
Literally.
disaster struck. They got a new studio and now they are super Hollywood.
They're
So
big shots,
we
man.
booked them
Going
before
on.
the new studio, and then
Yeah.
Huber hit us up and he's like, "Cool, where's my per diem?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Tim, Google per diem." And then we looked at it like, "We're not going to pay you any money." And he's like,
can't.
"I'm not coming." Sunglasses on. It was a FaceTime call, and
They
he
were
walked
cool
away.
sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, what really happened is he got to the airport. His flight got delayed. They moved him to a different flight. That flight got, and I kid you not, struck by lightning. So they got delayed again.
Before it took off.
Before it took off. So then there's a storm in LA. He's
Yeah,
not
it's raining
here.
down there. Nobody's knows what's going
Fun
on.
fact. Do you know what happens to a plane when it gets struck by lightning?
The same thing that happens to everything else.
No.
Oh, damn, I really thought I was hoping.
I thought he was going for
It's
X-Men.
totally fun. Because it's not grounded, so it doesn't get hurt.
We were
That's
having that
true.
discussion earlier, and that's where the goose came up, where it's like a goose can take down
Captain
a plane,
Sully.
Right.
Yeah.
but lightning can't.
Yeah.
It's true. I
Because like planes are used to that shit.
think
Sure.
it's actually fairly common. Yeah.
High lightning resistance.
Jeff Dye had a lot of funny jokes about that. He's a very funny comedian.
Very funny guy. He got to do his episode of Debatable.
Sure.
You can check that out. YouTube.com/kindoffunny. But this
Brittney got
is-
to host Kind of Funny Games Daily. You can check that out at
And that too.
youtube.com/kindoffunnygames.
Yeah, /kindoffunny.
Fran was there, though,
Wow,
sorry.
What a great channel. And on that channel,
Fran did great.
you can also find this show every Monday at 6 a.m. Pacific time. But if you want to get the show early, and goddamn it, I know you do, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Bronze members, every once in a while when we have a question we want from people, you get to submit your answers like we did today. Or silver members get the show early. You can watch the show live as we record it, or you get it 3 days early on that Friday. Kevin, how you doing?
Great.
Kevin gave me that look. He
Doing
gave me that
pretty good.
Kev look.
Doing pretty good.
What was the Kevin
I don't
generally
know. I don't
mean?
want to describe it because
Okay, my apologies, my apologies.
Not trying to be mean. And shout out
You
to
know
everybody.
that's mean on its
Thank
own there.
thank all of you for your support in the entire month of January. We were doing a big crowdfunding push for Kind of Funny 4.0. Where we were trying to do a whole world tour of meet and greets. We already did Arizona. We announced all of the other dates so far. We got San Francisco next month, February 17th on Sunday. Same day, later in that night, Nick's going to be doing a comedy showcase at Cobb's Comedy Club. You can buy your tickets for that now. Then March 30th, we're doing one in Kansas City. The details, where and when, to be announced. You can stay
Believe
tuned
a
to
date, right?
kindoffunny.com/events
bro.
to find out. But yes, March 30th for Kansas City. And then New York, April 6th. We'll be doing that again. Details to be announced. And finally, May 4th, Vancouver. My first time in Canada.
Really?
Will they allow me back? Probably not.
You say finally. Remember, we stretch gold all the way to London.
And then you're right. And
We're
now
going to
London,
London,
we do not have information on that yet. It will be in the second half of the year. But we're going to London, baby.
Okay, don't do that.
The
again.
Austin
Austin
Powers
Powers.
accent. I got you.
Thank you.
That's a great movie.
That's the most
Classic
important
film.
thing London's
we
ever
all
done for us.
understood it. We just
The most
didn't
important thing London's done for us is Austin Powers.
Oh, no.
Do you remember The Order, 1886?
Oh, okay. It's fair argument.
Easy platinum.
Hey, you guys are killing it. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. It's great.
Thank you for coming down and making time for us.
Yeah.
Have you had fun today?
I've had a great time.
Good. Like I was saying,
Working.
just leave What's Good Games. It's
I
open.
know.
Just
I
leave.
just sat
Just
all
walk
day in
away.
the office and just worked. And
Yeah.
I didn't talk to anyone.
Let's get into the games. Greg Miller, Wargroove. A hotly anticipated indie title. It feels like it's been years in the making. We've heard about this game forever.
Have we?
I think it was the first indie showcase that they showed Wargroove. Essentially, it's Advance Wars.
Exactly. It's the spiritual successor to Advance Wars. You're putting your troops out there the way you want to, medieval times kind of thing. You're the new queen. You're out there running your guys around. You got the guys with the sticks, the spears and stuff. You got the guys with the axes and the swords and stuff. You got archers you put up in the crow's nests over there. I'm really early in it. I had gotten it right before we went to Arizona, started it on the plane, and it was one of those things where I wasn't in the mood for this game.
Sure.
The game, I can tell you objectively, is great.
Right.
Right now, I am in the mood for the game. I am on a plane tomorrow. I'm very excited to play Wargroove in between a million emails. And it's beautiful. It's got a lot of personality to it, which I really, really like.
That's key for those type of games. 'Cause I feel
100%.
like it's the make or break of like the gameplay is fun and like you're going to get hours and hours and hours out of it, but it's like you need the writing and the like characters or else it just feels like you're just playing with.
And that's what it's about, right? Is like it's got these cute little the graphics, make it look like a cartoon to an extent. Awesome, beautiful cinematic in the very beginning. Then you go through and it's got cute little things of like the guy running behind the princess with the pillow, or the queen with the pillow now, I guess, and the thing jostling in there as you go. And then like even when you beat the enemy, like I'm super early, but when I beat like one of the first few enemies you're fighting, like she's face down telling everybody to go away, like you know what I mean. And you walk up on her after you beat her, and she's like, oh, and like you have a little conversation. And it's Gurr, and it's cutie. But then the actual Gurr,
Because he plays
like
a
she's
dog.
mad.
Yeah. He plays a dog. Is there a dog in this?
Yeah, there is a dog in the game.
Okay.
I have not controlled the dog as of yet.
Where does the groove come into play?
You're in it, man. You're in it. It's in the groove.
Is there any rhythm-based stuff?
Not that I've seen. No, there's nothing like that. It's not active. It is, it's turn-based strategy. So it is, okay, cool. It's your turn where you have this many ability or this many troops where you're gonna push them. You take over little encampments and towns or whatever that then generate money for you that you can then in your next turn use to make units to send out and do this. So I'm still very tutorial levels of it right now, and it's that thing of, oh, great, I'm having a great time. And then I was playing through the last mission. I was like, ooh. Turn 16. I should not be doing like 1 star at the end. I'm like, fuck, god damn it. But like, I'm excited to get back to it and play more of it. But it's so this is First Blush. Really cute. The gameplay itself is engaging. It is thought provoking, and that's what I want, right? Of like, what's the quickest way to do this? How am I doing this? And like, they have what I like about it is, when you get your new sets of units and you're learning about them for the first time, you can click on them and it'll tell you how to do the critical attack, your critical attack and stuff. So like the spear guys, you have to have them like next to each other in the angle that they're going, and then you'll get like double damage, do crit damages that way. And some of them are better for taking over things than other things. They can move further on some of them. It's cool.
This game is co-op too, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just running through single player stuff,
interesting.
but it's got a multiplayer option to it. Yeah, that I have not tinkered at all with and don't know what to do.
Because this is the kind of game that I wouldn't play by myself, but play with some friends.
Sure,
I think
sure.
it would be fun.
Yeah. How often do you play with your bow? Like you got. I see every so often you put up the screenshots of the two TVs
Yeah,
and
so we have
stuff.
2 TVs in our living room, and then we have a big projector upstairs. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
hell
play
yeah.
all the time together.
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
That's just like our thing.
Yeah. Is it all like? Are you when you say you play together? Are you guys playing the same game, or are you just playing in the same room?
Same game.
Oh, nice.
Typically same game, unless I'm reviewing like a single player game or something
Sure.
like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
typically, because even if games have split screen, it's easier to do online.
Yeah,
and most
of course.
games
Oh,
for
yeah,
co-op
totally,
is just,
totally.
online
Yeah,
only.
yeah,
So we do like the anthems. We're gonna be doing Far Cry here pretty soon.
Nice.
Stuff like
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah.
That's the way to live, man.
It is.
I-
And I'm too selfish. I can't share a TV or a console. So we each have our own consoles. I made that very clear.
Yeah. Of course.
I
Yeah.
don't know how couples do it.
Yeah. No. We have when Jen and I fall down the rabbit hole and stuff. It's more like I'm always playing, right? Like that's what I always want to be doing, where she always wants to work. And but like when a Monster Hunter or something to that effect comes around, that's when you wheel the second TV in and push everything
Yep.
together. But like that's the dream for me, is getting it, getting whatever living room pimped out, same TVs, one giant entertainment center, everything set up.
Yeah,
there.
G.
Yeah.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
Side by side.
See, for me though, as a cheap person, it'll just be whoever wants to sponsor me and send it to me for Instagram, whatever. That's why I should be verified.
It's an investment, man.
It is an investment of $0 for me and 2 TVs, which is what I want. Are you listening, Samsung, DiGiorno? Talk to some of the other brands you know.
DiGiorno.
Jesus. Send us a TV.
Yeah, dude. They'll figure it out.
No, they go to these. I'm sure. Think about it. You are DiGiorno, right? You're not telling me you're not going to some poker game where you're all smoking cigars and drinking whiskey and playing cards, and like LG is there and Samsung is there. All the brands hang out.
People.
All the brands hang out together. You know what I mean? They can just be like, I heard about this one guy. You know what I mean? He wants us to get 2 TVs for free because he's cheap. You know what I mean?
Deal. What a deal. Give me a pizza and you got the TV. Okay.
Exactly. See?
So, Advance Wars.
Yeah.
Was never my favorite.
You're a crazy person.
I was always a Fire Emblem guy. That was the thing. And it was like,
I still haven't tried Fire Emblem, and I know you tell me all the time that if I like
good.
with what I like, I should like it.
It's so good. But they were similar enough that I was like, I didn't need that much of that genre back then. So I never really got too deep into those games. With this, do you feel like it succeeds in being a successor to Advance Wars?
Well, I mean, they keep saying spiritual successor, and on that level, of course, I just don't feel you get. I mean, think about how Advanced Wars looked. Right, it's different. They're not using tanks, right? Advanced Wars was, modern, if not futuristic technology. You're running through and fighting and having fog of war and stuff. So far in the maps I'm on, I'm not seeing fog of war. At least not literal. Like as I get closer, you'll see people come in, but I'm not seeing like I actually have to advance around and do that. This is way more like medieval timesy thing of like we're over there fighting, just other troops and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the idea of. Where the fuck is Advanced Wars? Why has that not been around?
That's a good question.
And why? And like, even though we get strategy games, turn-based strategy games here and there, we haven't seen somebody just not copy it, but like, hey, that worked really well. Let's use that kind of art style.
I think a big reason for that is Fire Emblem and the success that the franchise has seen in the last couple of years. Like Fire Emblem Awakening, like lit a freaking fire underneath Fire Emblem as a franchise.
Sure.
And like, with Smash Brothers, like kind of introducing the West to the franchise in general.
Sure, the shelf.
And no, Xenoblade.
Oh, sorry.
But
Piranha Plant.
Yeah, nailed it. Yeah. But no, Awakening sold well, and then since then, every single game sold super well. And then Fire Emblem Heroes is like the biggest success I've seen so far on mobile. I can kind of understand them being like, all right, this is that game for us. Like we don't need to like compete with ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's cool seeing someone that's not Nintendo come in because it's not just on Switch. There's also on Xbox.
I can't help you.
Yeah, I played it at an Xbox event.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, for me, it's that weird thing of I remember hearing about this, I guess, at that Indies presentation you're talking about, Tim, forever ago, and then it totally fell off the radar.
Yeah.
And then this last round of press they did about it, I was like, what? Spiritual? Oh, I vaguely remember this. Okay,
It's everywhere.
whatever. Yeah.
Switch,
Everywhere.
PS4, Xbox One, and Windows.
Oh, wow, Windows, great.
Yeah, from Chucklefish.
Yeah, Chucklefish.
Cool stuff, man. Speaking of games that like we miss, that we want to see back, right?
Yeah.
If you guys could bring something back, because we got the Resident Evil 2 remake. I'm not talking about remakes. I'm talking about a franchise that's been dormant for a long time.
Sure.
What would you say?
I'd say Breath of Fire.
Okay.
That's
When's the last time we got one of those?
We got a mobile release. I don't even know how many years ago, and that was the end of it. So Breath of Fire, the last good Breath of Fire, I think was Breath of Fire 4, and that was on PlayStation. And then there was Breath of Fire 5, Dragon Quarter or something, which I didn't like. It was a Capcom game, very divided upon if you like it or you don't like it. I wasn't a fan, so I kind of never played it. And then they rebooted it as a mobile thing, and then I was just, that was it. I was done. But I really, really like the charm of those games, and I would love to see that come back.
We all know single player isn't dead, right? That was the rumor for a while. It defied expectations, much like PC gaming, where we tried to count that shit out, and then here we are. Fucking PCs everywhere. It sucks.
PCs everywhere.
PCs everywhere. Taking over our lives.
What I'd like to do is the game that I've been pitching as an E3 prediction forever, but bring back Splinter Cell, but do it as in the Batman Beyond style. So remember this pitch I gave where I was like, Sam Fisher is retired, but he's the guy in the chair, and we are following now this young 20-something, right? That's fresh out of whatever Spy Academy, and like he's got to do that and coach her that way. I think Siphon Filter would be another one I'd want to see. Of course, I'm gonna toss Patapon out there, but I was lucky enough to get a remaster, and I know that there is a second one somewhere hiding at PlayStation. I don't know who hasn't pressed the button to publish it because it's got to be there. Of course, Infamous hasn't been gone long, but I think real Infamous has been gone. You know what I mean? Give me.
Nice.
Let's. Where is the collection? That's all I want. Where is the collection, remaster, whatever you want to call, of Infamous 1 and Infamous 2? I don't need Delson. No offense. I don't need more Delson. You know?
Yeah, I feel you.
Help me out here.
Let's go back.
But now Sucker Punch wants to go to Japan, so I got to stick it along for this
It's a
round.
good place to go.
No, agreed.
Good place to go.
Yeah, very excited.
I've pretty much gotten everything I wanted. We got the Crash Bandicoot. We haven't got a new Crash Bandicoot yet, so we'll see.
Okay, you're getting Crash Team Racing.
Shut
up.
We're getting Crash Team Racing. So that's the thing is like I can't really ask for more. I don't even really want to ask for more. And we got Spyro. It's like what the fuck is going on?
What is your life?
Onimusha came back. At least
real quietly.
Real quiet. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I get it though because it's such a small game, and the fact that it was just one. Weird decisions being made. I don't know why exactly they did that. Are they testing the waters to see if it's worth bringing back? Because they kind of did that with Devil May Cry a while back, where they just, it's like, oh, hey, we're going to port DMC and DMC4 to modern consoles. And it was like, why? Like, that seems super random, but now we got DMC5. So a new Onimusha that is modernized, I would fucking die for. But my answer is Elite Beat Agents.
Oh, what a great
on the
one.
Switch, I want that so bad.
Yeah.
It would be so.
That's a great one.
No stylus though.
Just tap the screen.
Yeah, that could work. I don't know. But man, I want Elite Beat. Have you played Elite Beat Agents?
Really? Wow.
Nay.
It is a rhythm game that's on the DS. In America, it's Elite Beat Agents. In Japan, it's called, like, I don't know how to say it. It's Quendan, Quendan or some shit.
Okay.
But it's just like bonkers ass, anime ass, like ridiculousness, but with pop music and your secret agents that dance to save the world. And
Sounds about right.
It was
so
awesome.
good.
It was so good.
damn
Yeah.
good. And
yeah.
like, I don't know why we
He's
haven't gotten
the
more.
walkie-talkie man.
Now,
Soundtrack
does
was amazing.
Pokemon Snap count?
I'll give it to you.
I'll accept it.
I don't know
I will
why.
accept
I don't
that.
know why, because it's a horrible game.
What? What?
Pokemon
is
Snap's
this
one of those
joker?
things that I'm like, I never liked it.
Really?
Ever.
Why didn't you enjoy fun? All right.
Yeah.
The Nintendo 64. What was it called?
The Fun Machine. You were right.
Let it be fun. Let us have some
Let us
fun.
have
I'm happy that everybody loves it as much as they do, but I do question if it's one of those things where they're just blinded by nostalgia. And it's just like, oh yeah, I had N64. I had that. I liked that. I don't believe that many people actually love the game.
What I think is actually going to happen is if this Pokemon Switch title actually comes out this year, I think there's going to be a photo mode in it.
Yeah.
That's my
I buy
prediction.
That. Yeah. A Pokemon Snap game could be good. I remember at Blockbuster there was those kiosks and you can bring your cart.
You can bring them in
get
and they
them
would print it on
I still
stickers.
have the
Oh my god,
stickers.
I have all mine too.
Fantastic.
I have them in my player's
I love it
guide.
so much.
God, I'm telling you right now, just fucking please put out the N64 Mini. I have not cared about a Mini.
Reggie has shattered our dreams, man. It's
I
not
haven't cared about
happening.
any of these goddamn Minis. Do it.
That was such a great system.
THQ, just fucking make a wrestling game like No Mercy.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Come
yes.
That would be a good answer.
Yeah.
Just have them fucking make a wrestling game.
I have no idea why they haven't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's and I understand.
THQ
Oh
wrote
well, WWE All Stars was kind of like that. Yes, it kind of was, but it wasn't. Like I'm saying, put out.
That's my like PS Battle Royale. Where
Right.
It's like
Yep.
kind of Smash, but it's not.
Just do
it.
I mean, in 2K, the 2K wrestling games are not respected and not that well liked. Like right, like people
Right.
play them, but it's usually like, man, it's whatever. It's too simulation-y. It's too whatever. Am I wrong, Kev?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're not.
I mean, look at how much love there is for Fire Pro, which is great. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy Fire Pro, but like, if I'm over there, I'd be like, well, fuck it, let's just do it. Let's just make it look like what you think it looked like on N64. You know what I mean? Use that kind of simple graphics, give it a simple character creator, sell it as a digital only title for $20.
Yep.
Come on, 2K.
People don't wanna make
Don't you want
money.
some money? I know,
Yeah,
right?
I
Britt,
want
nobody
to-
listens to us.
I know.
But maybe if like developers aren't going to make it, maybe the people can make it. And where could they make it, Greg? Could they make it in a
Patreon.com.
game called Dreams?
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was
Thank
good.
you.
That was
Tell me
good.
about Dreams.
Well, first off, I want to give a huge compliment to you and Kevin for the swerve. Because I don't know if you caught that. Kevin zoomed in on your face by total accident digitally.
No.
So as you were like, but what if? It went boom, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? What bit are they about to do that I don't remember? Jeez.
Michael
Yeah.
Huber pops through the table. Surprise, motherfucker.
Y'all thought I was dead. Lightning struck. Dreams, yeah, man. Media Molecule, we're finally getting there, right? The beta they promised us like 3 years ago is happening as we speak right now. It'll be over by the time this goes live on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. But they lifted the NDA. We got to play it, or I got to play a bunch of it yesterday during our stream. And I'll tell you what, man, Dreams is so fucking impressive. Like, that was the thing is, like, people started to violate the NDA, and then when they just lifted the NDA, like you saw, like, hey, they recreated PT, they
Yeah.
recreated Dead Space,
They're doing
they
cool
recreated,
stuff with it, yeah.
And so yesterday when we got to jump in there and just go through level after level after level, it's insane, as you'd expect. Of like, yeah, PT is PT. And
How
you're-
accessible is it though?
Oh, to build that crap?
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
I mean, it is and it isn't.
Okay.
It is in the way that I think it is more accessible from the demos I've had of it. I didn't create Ezra, I just played.
Okay.
It's more accessible to create than it was in any of the Little Big Planets.
Okay.
No way.
In Little Big Planet, the way I struggled all the time was like, all right, cool, I want to make this thing. In Jagged Edge is this thing. I'm going to put this connector bolt to this thing, and then why isn't it working? And fucking reverse the polarity and da 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 da. This one literally, when they show it off, is if you want this platform to move, you can do all the weird hidden invisible belt pulls down, or you click on the thing and hit the record button, and then you move it. And then hit stop record, and it'll do whatever you want it to do. It's deep as all hell.
Yeah.
But I think the tutorials they're putting in there before they let you off the leash to go do it, I think are giving you the basics to get in there.
Wow,
and do
that's
that.
crazy because Little Big Planet.
This is based on the demos I've
Yeah.
done. You know what I mean? Again, I haven't sat down with the final version of it. And Little Big Planet, Little Big Planet, when I created stuff, I had a ball, but I also had the moments at 3 a.m. where I almost cry. Of like, cool, it's all done. You do it, and the one thing I wanted to glue to the floor actually glued everything to the floor, and like, fuck, and like, quit out and like revert and do all this different stuff. Like, it was all moving really quickly yesterday. It was all being seamless, jumping in and out of levels and stuff. I feel the same thing I've been saying since Dreams has always been, what is this vaporware? What is this? Colin used to infamously say, is it even a game?
Right.
And when I finally got to go see it behind closed doors at E3 2 years ago, right? Yeah, 3 years
Must have
ago?
been.
Yeah. And I left, it was last year, yeah, for sure, because I left and I immediately went to Andy. And I was like, what are you doing tomorrow at this time? He's like, I'm like, you need to go see this. You need to go do it. Because the volume of things you can create in there and the way you can create, and I'm sure everybody's heard me talk about it, you know, the XP for if you just want to build shrubbery and put it in the game, right? And then that gets used and that gives you more XP. But the idea that people who can create whatever they want to, but I only make props. I only upload my own music that I've made for it. That's why I wanted Andy in there as the artist and the super talented creative one to go in there and be like, do you see this? Do you understand? He's like, oh man, it's fucking crazy. Blah, 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 blah. I see that in what the beta's given us. Now, the thing is, of course, that what the beta's given us is it's been a month, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more, of people using it. So everything in there very much is just testing out,
Proof of
just
concept,
seeing this
the
logic,
things.
you know what I mean? And it's like, Kevin and I were playing one yesterday on the stream that was, hey, it's clearly a Metal Gear inspired sneaking thing. And it was very clear, like, hey, the logic isn't there yet, but we're working on it. And so going through and playing it, like, okay, cool, we're getting caught in a way and this camera angle sucks and blah, blah, but it's like, holy shit, this is good. This is fun.
Right.
The PT thing was like, holy fuck, this is crazy that it's this good. And then it was like, wow, this is Mario. They've made it sound like, they have all the sound effects and everything. You play and like, all right, well, there's no effect for this brick breaking. You're like, well, mini Mario shouldn't be able to break this brick. And it's like, we're getting hung up on these little things, but it is really close
It's
for
proof
a
of
month.
concept.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So like, when that gets
that
out.
was the one that was least impressive to me because I'm just like, all right, this is like,
Yeah.
it's so simple. But
Sure.
then when you're playing these things, they're like first-person shooter looking things.
Yeah, yeah,
And
the
then
drift
you go
game.
into, it's a rhythm game now. It's
Yeah.
essentially
Oh,
Rock
yeah.
Band Unplugged.
They had a Rock Band Unplugged in there. It was really good. Yeah.
I was super impressed. I've been down on Dreams for a long time and a naysayer, at least in terms of its success. And I still don't think it's going to be a major success.
Yeah.
But I was super impressed with what people have already created. And there's always going to be that hardcore contingent of people that make really special stuff, just like Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
But I feel Little Big Planet had that accessibility of a mascot
and that is
platforming.
this is what it, you know, I sang a song yesterday to the Mario theme that was just about like, you never need to buy another game, copyrights don't exist, the kind of thing, making fun of it, right? And again, that's where we get into this weird question about Dreams. I've known Media Molecule a long time. A lot of great people over there, a lot of amazing, talented people, and they have a vision for what they're doing. It's always been artsy fartsy. And Little Big Planet had Sackboy, which it was like, I get it. Especially for them to start, and it's like, oh, you're creating your own platforming levels. I get that. And then to evolve and iterate from there. Okay, great. I still don't understand how you showcase dreams to the mainstream in a way that doesn't super alienate or mystify in terms of you can build anything you fucking want. And people go, I have no idea how to even start to do that. Not a game for me. Nor do I think it works to you can go play through this imp's dream story, and then you can also create something. I don't know what's the fucking imp about. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's almost like they have to separate their marketing tactic, right? You want to appeal to the people who want to create, but then you also want to appeal to the people who just want to play some fun games that were made locally off of their software. But how do you exactly do that?
Yeah.
And I feel like so far it's just been a whole bunch of jumbled up of both, and so you're left with like, well, what do you do exactly with this?
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool.
Oh yeah.
So the quality of the little games you've played, if you download those off of an eShop or something, what would your impression be? Would you be like, this is not good? Would you say like this?
A lot of them I would have been like, this isn't good.
Okay,
yeah,
but because it's a proof of concept and you know what it is, you're giving it kind of like a.
And it was, there was one that obviously Media Molecule's been testing this behind the scenes for a while before they got to this beta where we were all talking about it. And so you jump in there, and I know they've been doing like the Starry Night Challenge, Snowy Night Challenge, like where they're make a scene or make it look like this, and like. Seeing that where I take control of a guy down a Parisian walkway and like walk him around, and it's like snowing or whatever, raining, and it was like, wow, this is beautiful. And then another one to jump in, and it was like, it seems so easy. It was just the text pops up from the creator. It's like, hey, yeah, I was trying. You're looking at art, and I was like, oh, they uploaded this. I was like, oh no, they created this painting in Dreams, just doing it, and it's like, wow, that's fucking insane. I still am blown away by Dreams in the same way I left that E3 demo like, fuck, this thing is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm still terrified for what it means when it comes out.
Yeah.
If it is, because it's the problem is, looking into my crystal ball, I don't see Dreams being this breakout runaway success. I mean, Little Big Planet was huge, right? Little Big Planet was huge. I don't see it getting anywhere close to that, and I don't know what Sony does with that. If you have this dedicated player base in there creating, making awesome shit, great. But as the guy who was at IGN, who was like, here's all the cool levels in Little Big Planet, here's all the Mod Nation Racers characters that were neat this week, like those clicks drop off pretty quick. And so how does it work that you're just talking to a core audience that really cares about this? Right. How does it work that it's not a breakout success? I do worry for Media Molecule, right? Because PlayStation has been more tenacious in business lately, and it is that thing of, cool, this took forever, and Tearaway was cool, but didn't sell on Vita. That's on us. Tearaway was cool, didn't sell that much on PlayStation 4. It's a little on everybody, right? What's that? It was PlayStation 4, right? Tearaway Unfolded? Okay. And now we're here with a game that's taken forever and not been, I don't want to say, it's been the butt of jokes on podcasts and this, that, or there, or it's been completely forgotten about it and no one ever mentions it.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing too. Like, we talk about first parties all the time. Fucking Days Gone even. Yeah, but I mean, like, what's happening with Hideo Kojima's exclusive? Where's going The Last of Us Part 2? But how often does Dreams come up and it's not like you're like, oh, fuck, right, Dreams.
I feel like Dreams got caught in a weird place because when it was first shown off, I mean, didn't we first see this at the PlayStation 4 reveal event?
At the PlayStation 4 reveal event, yeah, you saw something from Media Molecule where they were using the wands to make things dance.
Right? It was a little, it was the dancing or the concert.
The jazz band
the band.
So we saw it then, and I feel like we were all like, all right, they're fucking weird, but like, they'll figure it out.
I mean, it was pretty fucking
weird.
And
then years
whatever
later,
you say, Shaban.
Years later, it kind of felt like, all right, it's a VR game, right? It must be a VR game. And I feel it kind of got trapped in that mindset of like, oh, it's their weird proof of concept VR thing. But then PSVR happened, and now it has hits, and now it's been a couple years of a bunch of titles, and now Dreams doesn't seem to be associated with VR anymore in such an intense way.
Well, that's the thing. Kevin was like, oh man, can I do VR on the thing? It's a VR game. And I'm like, well, not day one. You know, they were very clear of like, it's like going to, I think that when at E3, when we asked about it right there, like it's going to be day 1.5. Like it's going to be close, but it's not going to be right there.
Yeah.
And so
I just think that like, even in that way, it's like, okay, wow, it doesn't even have that hook anymore. Now it just seems kind of like, and I don't mean this in a bad way because I had a blast yesterday playing it. Like that, it was really fun, but it kind of just feels like a early access Steam demo situation where you're just like bouncing from thing to thing and like having cool moments. And it's perfect Let's Play fodder. You know, it's like it's totally fun to just like make fun of it and like be impressed the next second. Like I was very, very impressed with it and what people have already done so far.
It's just this thing. I remember when I infamously pushed and got my way, and it was a mistake, to make Little Big Planet Vita the Vita game of the year over Persona. And I'm very sorry, everybody. But my argument was, right, that like, you have to understand this game is unlimited game. Like it's just going to constantly, it's an everlasting gobstopper. Right. There's so much to go back to. There's some, but how much, how many times did everybody go back for it? And like, even that, like, let's like, at launch, they're going to launch, and it's going to be a few weeks before there's really awesome levels on there, right? Before people are really pushing the envelope. Because, like, that was, Little Big Planet 3 introduced the Savinator, where you
dogs.
could link. Fuck, I can see a little sock dog. I forget its name. But where you could link, maybe it was 2, but I think it was 3. Where you could link, maybe it was Vita, where you could link levels together and like save progress and make an RPG and shit like that. And that's
Yeah.
rad. But like, how many Media Molecule levels are there going to be? Is that going to be a thing I want to wrap my head around? Is there going to be a hook for me to come back and play more of it and do it? Because it was that thing of, oh man, there's a lot of neat shit on there, but nobody was. I mean, the community was, but not the general audience for Little Big Planet.
I don't know if there's been an interview with Media Molecule why they sought out to create something like Dreams, because it's just not something I feel like anyone really actively would ask for unless you were a big fan of like RPG Maker back in the day, which I was. So it's interesting that they're pushing this, but you also have to appreciate it because I don't feel like there's been something out there like this before.
Oh, yeah.
So it's so uncharted territory. Who's to say what impact this might have 5-10 years down the road, right? Maybe a kid will pick it up and start creating with it and be like, I'm not going to be a doctor anymore. I'm not going to save lives. I'm going to make video games.
That is for sure going to happen. And not only that, I mean, really, like, that's the thing with Dreams. I really do feel that in 6 months, they're going to have a bunch of, holy shit, look at that. But are they going to be, holy shit, look at that, and I read the Kotaku story and watch the video and bounce? Or is it going to be, holy shit, I need to play that?
Right.
Well,
it's
that's
like
my thing
dev kit.
even with Little Big Planet is I'm a huge platformer guy, and I remember being excited. I love mascot platformers. I'm like, oh my god, we're getting one during the PS3 generation. Like that's super cool. And I played. I'm like, I don't like anything about this. Like I don't like the creative side. I just wanted to play and playing through the levels. I'm just like, it's way too floaty. It doesn't feel like there's a challenge really to it. And I remember just looking at Kotaku, looking at IGN, and like downloading the like greatest hits levels and stuff. Yeah. And that was fun until I realized that like it was about as fun as just watching them on YouTube. You know, and it's like I feel like every once in a while there'd be a write up of like, oh my god, Final Fantasy VII was remade in Little Big Planet. But it's like that novelty wears off so quickly where it's like I don't want to actually play that. I just want to be like, oh cool, someone did it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And
exactly.
I feel like Dreams is going to be that on a bigger scale. I feel the best way for Dreams to be a success is in a world that doesn't exist right now, but with what Xbox is doing with Game Pass, like Sea of Thieves is the success, I use very lightly, that it is because of Game Pass, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like
you're about to nail it.
If PlayStation had a Game Pass type system where Dreams was free, it's free to play if you have the system, whatever, then I feel like it would really have a chance where they don't need to sell people on it. It's just an additive thing of if you get this, you get the games, and you get this crazy platform.
This has been something we've kicked around on the shows before, and it's just like, is there a way to section it off as a PlayStation Plus game where it is, I don't even know, you get it, you get just the ability to go play the levels, but you have a limited number of levels. They give you a level pack of like, hey, you're getting 30 levels we think are awesome, and a couple Media Molecule ones to jump in and play that way. Like, it is going to be a game that people need to play. And I think even beyond the mainstream, I think when we're playing it and we're talking about how awesome it is, it's still going to need me to be like, Tim, you have to play, like giving you the control. You have to play this level. You have to do this thing.
I mean, like I was in the other room and like Kevin was like, Tim, hey, you got to get in here. You got to play this Rock Band Unplugged thing. And I was like, whoa, this is wait, the lag was bad because of our TV, but that wasn't the game's fault. The game was legit.
Yeah.
Like, it was cool.
Yeah.
Is this a Dreams creation behind us?
No, this is
It looks like
Stardew
I was like,
Valley,
because that looks like Stardew Valley. Because I was like, it looks like Stardew Valley. But also, if someone made a farming simulation in Dreams, I am all
They will. That's the
over
thing. So they're gonna make
that.
all this stuff.
Maybe
that's where
every
Patapon
few
will live
years
again.
story of seasons isn't enough. But yeah, it's interesting to see now. Have they talked about if they can sell these games? I'm sure like the licensing is a big issue. Because when we went to it was PSX 2017, I think we saw it behind closed doors. Andrea had asked about licensing the games, and they're like, "This is something we're exploring, but obviously, that's gonna be a really complicated process. And if they could figure out a way to make that work, that opens up a whole new door." But
well, that's where it gets really crazy and weird, right? Imagine a world where they figure that out, but what it is you're using the Dreams storefront through the PSN to download the individual levels, right? You download the Dreams package. You can't go in to play the stuff or find the things, but people could actually sell them on PSN. That'd be awesome, but that's never gonna happen.
wah, wah.
So I don't know. Dreams is something that I find really fascinating. I feel like a lot of times with our industry, you can look there and be like, this is going to do this is going to do that, that'll blah, blah, blah. And you get caught off guard all the time. But I mean, like, this is really a giant question mark barreling down at us.
What impact
like,
is this going to have? How many years down the line? Yeah.
What does this mean?
It's very cool to see. And with where Sony's at right now, like they are in a position where they can make bold choices if they want to.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Here's the thing, and this is going back to what we started with talking about this, right? And what I've been saying on the shows for a couple weeks now, and if not longer. This very much isn't the PlayStation that started on this road.
Yeah, you're right.
When you want to talk about, I mean, yes, we saw the Dream stuff, like the first test footage or whatever, at the launch event, right? When they talked about this in February of, I'm bad at this game all the time. We left in 2015. I had cancer in 2012. So it was 2013. Yeah, 2013.
Came out.
Yeah.
So that February 2013, that PlayStation that brought Mark Cerny out and brought out Adam Boyes and brought out the Shoe, and we're like, all about games. We're all about games. Yay! That was the team that was like, fucking Media Molecules got it.
Yeah.
And here we are. What 6 years later now? Or entering our 6th year of it, and just being like, we don't put those people on screen anymore. We don't worry about this. I mean, we let our exclusives take their time. Single player isn't dead. Blah blah. It's just like, and I always joke around about this, like. This isn't the artsy fartsy PlayStation of PS3 anymore, where it was like, Last Guy, that seems like some great thing we need as an exclusive. Like, no, I really like, that's like what the fucking, we'd have it on Switch right now. We should, by the way, if your Last Guy's out there. But I don't know, man. I just don't know what we're going to get here.
If you're interested in Dreams, I recommend following Emmett Watkins Jr. on Twitter, EJSPONGE61. He was one of our...
Prom Court.
That's what it is. At Kind of Funny Prom. Great guy. Big fan of Dreams. He's been doing a lot of cool stuff. Been streaming a lot of stuff about it.
He wrote in, on Games Daily a bunch of times this week about it, asking questions about it. And then, he was one of the squad ups because he was looking for more people to send him cooler levels. Cool. Yeah, he definitely seems like, especially as we get closer, he's all in. And he's definitely one of those guys that you should be following and if you want to see what's up.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been... a million years.
Oh, this is why you should have said you were dressed up.
But it's finally here. Kingdom Hearts 3. I have it. I've been playing it. I'm about 10 hours in. I'm a little salty that I haven't beat it yet because I didn't get a code a long time ago.
Yeah.
But man.
You got overlooked, man. They know that you can't hold secrets.
It's all
and I blame myself because that Gamescast where I did the sushi thing and it violated an embargo, and I'm sorry about that. That's probably why it happened.
That is probably why. It is unreal to be playing Kingdom Hearts 3. Period.
Okay.
But
so are you like Alexa Ray level crazy?
No, definitely not. Not at all.
Okay.
I mean, she's
all right. So it's Alexa.
She's in a league of her own.
And it's
Dornbush. Dornbush I'd put as like equals.
Okay.
How many copies did he buy?
I don't know.
Alexa bought 4 hard copies and the PS4 Pro. All right. I think she's on her own. I think she's on her own level.
Yeah. She definitely is. Like she cries a lot. I don't know. She cries a lot. I don't know how much. I don't know how much Dornbush has cried from it. I wouldn't put it past it. It's a very emotional game. But like, I remember she was like, "Did you cry when you saw the trailer?" And I was like, "Hard no." I questioned why there wasn't sound effects, but whatever. To each their own. I respect that a lot. But no, I am a big Kingdom Hearts fan in the casual sense. I would say,
sure.
It's just like I love it so much, but it's crazy to me to be this many years removed from Kingdom Hearts 2. There's been so many other Kingdom Hearts. People have heard me talk about this franchise for so long, and they know my opinions on a lot of things. I have been waiting for this one for a very long time. I've played almost all of them, enjoyed them to various degrees, but my favorite in the franchise so far has been 2. So getting to 3, it's been so long. I could not wait. When it was announced, I think at 2013's E3, officially, that it was real and that it was coming. When we first saw it, I was like, this is beautiful. I can't wait. The first Gamescast we ever did, episode 1, was the games we're most hyped for in 2015.
God damn it.
My game was Kingdom Hearts 3.
Deep cut.
4 years later, I started playing this game, and man, it has been such a journey. I'm about 10 hours in now.
Okay.
I'm on the 4th world, I would say.
Give me your reaction.
You're not a Kingdom Hearts player, right?
No.
Okay.
We have taste. Give me your reaction when it popped up and said Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
Oh my God.
If you're not aware, everybody freaked out on the internet that you start this game and you play a little bit, right? And it goes Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
You play a couple hours, I would say. And then, it's like a title screen that's kind of like an end screen. Says Kingdom Hearts Roman numeral 2.9. And I was just like, y'all motherfuckers are bonkers, man. Like, y'all really had the audacity to just fuck. We've waited so long for Kingdom Hearts 3, and they're like, nah, not yet.
That's crazy.
It is crazy that they did that. But I kind of love it. Like, it's like, that's the thing where I'm just like, you're
totally.
If you're in, you're in. You know what I mean? And it's that type of dumb. It reminds me of Fast and Furious.
Sure.
I love how ridiculous it is. I love they're at the point now where it's like they'll just jump out of a car and grab the other car. And it's like, yeah, duh. Like, that's the logic of this world. Of course this game starts with Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
That's hilarious.
Right? Like, of course it does. But I started playing, and man, when the title screen came up, like, you just see Disney, Square Enix. I was just like, I should not feel this emotional just off of this shit. Right?
Yeah, you should.
But then I was like, I'm a grown ass man, and I was like, I was almost like, I don't want to like this game. We played the.
I'm an intellectual. I've changed.
It's more just like there's a lot of resentment.
Goofy lied to me.
Goofy fucking lied to me, man. But no, I just feel like I at least had some resentment towards the franchise for taking so long and like going through Final Fantasy 15, which I was kind of upset with overall with how it turned out.
Sure.
Where for how long I waited for that game, it didn't give me what I wanted from it, which was a great story.
Yeah, it was missing half the story.
And that was a big issue to me. And it also wasn't the game we were first shown with Versus 13 and whatever. Right. And that was around the time of Kingdom Hearts 3 being shown. So I kind of went into this, and then playing it at E3, I was just like, fuck, man, this feels like a PS2 game. Like, I don't, it's just Kingdom Hearts. There's just more Kingdom Hearts. This is not a modern Kingdom Hearts. And let me tell you, it's not a modern Kingdom Hearts, period, at all, in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So it does totally feel like PS2 Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Okay. But
I played for about 3 hours to see the Kingdom Hearts 2.9 thing, and then I keep going like, this is weird. As much, the dialogue is so bad. The things they're saying is just so
like
stupid.
Disney corny or just stupid?
Oh, no. Kingdom Hearts corny is on a level that like you can't even comprehend. Like the sentences that they are putting together are just like, what does anyone know what they're actually trying to say right now? Like, this is just it's just like the hearts, the darkness, but he separated his heart from his body, but the heart can live in data. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like, what the fuck? But then Hades comes, and it's the voice of Hades from Hercules.
James Woods?
Yeah, and he's acting like Hades.
Oh.
And it's a new plot that we haven't seen before in the Hercules world, and you're interacting with Hercules, and Meg's there, and all this shit's happening, and I'm just like, holy shit, like, I love this. And I was like, cool, but this Kingdom Hearts is great. And I'm not going to spoil shit, but like, there was a moment then where you go somewhere in the Hercules area that I didn't expect to go. And I was like, oh my God. And that is the moment that I realized why I love this franchise, why I've cared about this game for so long. You think you get it. You think you expect every single thing you're going to get. Then there's these unexpected moments of just hype constantly. Of just like, sit through the corniest, weirdest shit. Gia is she's never judged me for playing video games more than watching me play Kingdom Hearts. Usually she's like, okay, I get why you're into this. She's looking at this, she's like, why am I with you? Like, this is fucking weird. But I'm sitting there and I'm progressively just freaking out more and more and more the more that I see. Mm-hmm. I feel now 10 hours in, there's just a magic, and I'm just fucking in. I love this game. I love this game so much. I hate that we had to do a 12-hour stream yesterday because I didn't get to play more of it. Like, I can't wait to see where it goes, what's happening. Every time Organization 13 shows up, I'm like, I don't fucking know what's going on right now. But you know what? I don't give a shit.
You don't care.
Because Rapunzel's over there, and I need to help her, and we got to figure this shit out. I'm loving so much of it. The gameplay is awesome. But even then, anytime I say something good about it, like, there's so much shit. This is a PS2 game, but it looks pretty as fuck. It is beautiful. Everything about it, the worlds are, I can't believe that I can play a Pixar movie. And we've said that so many times, it's real now. The weirdest thing to me is, and I've never said this about a cartoon, it's uncanny valley for cartoons. Like, it is so good looking that it being off just a little bit confuses me. Where I'm like, ooh, this, like, why does Mickey have such a defined snout? You know what I mean? Like, having a shadow there, like, it's like, whoa, shit, like, you look really good, but you're like, it's because it looks so good, the little things that are off make it seem really weird. Or like the animations of like Woody's eyes, like just how they move, and like, it's off-putting, you know? But then when it's a little farther away and you're just like, you're running around the world, it's like, you're in Toy Story World. You totally buy it. You totally understand like what the goal of what you're doing is. The characters are so great. The voices are so great. The dialogue is horrible. But the battle system is just awesome. It starts out super easy.
I was going to say, I saw somebody tweeting, or maybe even a review, or not a review, obviously, because it wasn't all the way through, but somebody talking about the fact that they were having fun, but it seemed like battle was too easy.
Oh my god,
I saw
it's
it
so
too.
simple. You run around, you hit X, motherfuckers are gonna die.
Dynasty
Every once in a while, you
Warriors.
hit triangle. It's like X, QTE pops up, hit triangle, boom, done, and you just keep repeating
Okay.
that. There are so many layered systems of battle in this game where it's just like there's summons, there's different keyblades you can switch on the fly. There's keyblade forms that you can like go into that like each keyblade has a different magic power that you can unlock and use. Then there's attractions that you're summoning Disneyland rides to like do more damages and shit, which is different than the summoning
I
characters.
know. I'm thinking about that too, Kevin. Like summoning a Disneyland ride.
It's fucking crazy and it's insane, and the screen just turns into chaos so quickly. But that's cool as hell. Like that's the point of it. Is like it's just a spectacle to see everything going on, and it's overwhelming. Where it's like, why is there so much shit? Like, why did they just simplify this? But then when you get into the zone of actually like understanding like how to switch off, it really it starts feeling like a rhythm game, which I love, and it's just action where you are just hitting the buttons and like changing up like, okay, now I summon the Disneyland ride before switching over my Keyblade, before using the defense thing, and like you're surrounded by enemies, and then it's just explosions and fireworks everywhere, and with amazing music throughout the entire thing. Like always, this is one of the best soundtracks of all time is the Kingdom Hearts franchise, and like this is no exception. But it's magic. It's the Disney magic. There's a magic that I've never seen in anything in my life. There you go. Besides Nintendo or Disney. And this is it at its purest form with a bunch of weird Japanese shit that doesn't make any sense, but that's
That's
of
the charm
fun.
of it,
They
right?
went full in. They don't give a shit about anyone's opinions except for the people that like this.
And that was going to be my next question. So obviously you're very, very excited. The hype is like...
Yes.
So as someone who has never played a Kingdom Hearts game, though, now that you've played it, is it best that I stay away, or should I even hop in? Or I'm going to be like,
Stay
what
away!
the hell is happening? Because I was talking to Alana Pierce about this, and she was saying that she's not really enjoying it because it just doesn't feel good. And I think what the translation is it feels like an old game. And now as people who don't have the nostalgia, we're used to games that really are releasing in 2018, 2019, and they
Yeah.
have a certain polish to them that I imagine a game that's been in development for 2,000 years doesn't have.
It definitely feels like an old game. And that's like the weirdest thing is it doesn't just feel like an old game. It feels like Kingdom Hearts. It's like, and that's the thing is with the nostalgia, there's definitely is a, man, I really wish that I could change my controls so jump wasn't circle.
Who does that? Who does that? That's
You know
a
what I mean?
cancel button.
It's like there's things like that I'm like, this is unacceptable. Like
Sure.
I hate it. Like that to me is just not only not modern, it's like really kind of insulting. But at the same time, it's like, man, it just brings me back in a way
Right.
that like I haven't felt in the game in a long time, where it's just like it's bringing me back to those moments of being a little kid where I feel like I only loved this game because I was a little kid playing it at the first time.
Sure, yeah.
But unlike a lot of times we see like Shadow of the Colossus, right? Had a lot of issues on PS2. Amazing game, but control-wise, didn't hold up that well. They remade it on PS4. They made the controls better, and it was just like, oh, this is now the definitive version. Whereas Kingdom Hearts, it's like, it just plays like the old ones do. And that took me, it's still taking me a bit to wrap my head around. And I can see people not having that nostalgia, being like, I don't want to put up with this. It's just not worth it. And I think it takes a little too long to get to the point where the combat has so much shit going on that you feel like it's worth going into the flow for. Because for a long time, it is just XXXXXXX triangle, XXXXXX triangle. It's floaty as all hell. Sora's just flying all around. You never feel like you're fully in control of exactly where he's going. The dodge system is really bad. It's like, it's not a platinum action game. And I wish it was, It's weird, but I do think that from a story perspective and all that stuff, people make way too big a deal of like how convoluted it is and like whether or not you understand it or whatever. Make no mistake, it's convoluted as fuck. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You can play this game for the first time without having played any of them. Trust me, there's way too many flashback scenes or Mickey explaining the story in the Wikipedia version. The shortest version possible to let you know what exactly you're doing and why. And it makes as much sense as it did in the other fucking games that took 60 hours to beat. But he's saying it in 2 sentences and it doesn't make sense. Here's this bad guy and he separated his.
All right, that's the worst Mickey I've ever heard.
I'm not doing it in the Mickey voice.
Oh,
He's-
here's this bad guy. His
There
heart
you
got
go.
separated.
From his body.
And now
Now it's in data.
Now he's trying to separate
Now he's
himself
trying to
into
separate himself into
seven versions of himself.
Seven
And
versions
it's like,
of himself.
what are you talking about? Yeah. But then Woody shows up.
Sounds like some of that dumb Harry
Woody.
Potter shit with Horcruxes and shit. You know what I mean?
Hey!
Oh, yeah.
You shut your mouth.
Just saying, it sounds a lot like your nerd shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, you shut your mouth.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
the further I get into it, it's like I do feel like it is the best version of Kingdom Hearts that we've ever had.
Okay, that's
It
good.
is the best battle system. I'm liking the assists and the summons and everything better than I've liked previous ones. The worlds feel a bit more realized than they have in previous games, and I think that is just because of the limitations of back on the PlayStation 2 that it was on. I hope there's some surprises in terms of worlds that I don't know about, because that's something I love so much about 2 is, and maybe this was just a symptom of the times of not having the internet and only knowing what EGM told me, but there's a moment where you go to Lion King World and you're like, whoa, holy shit, I didn't know that was in this game. Or Steamboat Willie and everything's black and white. Or Pirates of the Caribbean, you're like, whoa, now they look realistic. That was all surprise moments to me that I didn't see coming. Whereas with this, I feel like I'm like, all right, well, I know I'm going to Frozen. I know I'm going to Big Hero 6 because they've shown it in all the trailers. I'm hoping there's some surprise. But the further I get into it, like things keep happening, characters keep showing up. And what I love the most is the weird Disney crossover stuff that has been building up the last couple games, but most of the Disney stuff is kept to its own world. So it's like, if you're in Frozen Land, Arendelle or whatever it is, you play through the story of the Frozen movie, modified to kind of fit the good and bad guys of Kingdom Hearts being in it. But outside of that, there's the overarching storyline pushing everything forward that has bad guys from Disney all kind of teaming up. And it's like the Avengers of Disney bad guys. So it's like,
Nice.
like
That's cool.
Pete from like the Goofy stuff. The big
Oh,
guy.
yeah. Pete.
He's the henchman to
I remember Pete.
to Maleficent. And it's just like Maleficent,
Poor
who's
Pete.
dope as fuck. And she'll just show up and start shit. And it's just like she's such a badass. And I'm like, in those ways, I'm like, I love what this game is because it's just like there's all these weird anime Organization 13 guys with the hoods, and you're like, whatever. But then Maleficent shows up and essentially is like, fuck them, I'm way cooler than you. Yeah, it's Pete.
Oh, okay.
Pete.
Yeah. And I just fucking love that shit so much because it's bonkers to see. And it reminds me of like Smash Brothers or just whatever. Just like, can you imagine Pikachu beating up Donkey Kong, whatever? It's one of those things, but it's a beautiful RPG, action RPG. I can't wait to play more. I'm hoping the end there's some crazy ass revelation. And that my favorite thing about Kingdom Hearts games has always been the end because it builds up and it's epic. You don't really know what's going on,
Right.
but you know it's really cool and there's cool music playing.
I don't really know what's going on, but there's cool music.
Yeah. Hey,
It's hype.
that's the most
It's like-
honest review I could give of Kingdom Hearts 3 so far, and I think it's going to continue that, but I am absolutely loving it. I'm having a blast. It is magic, but it also is... This game should have came out in 2007,
Right.
and it feels that way. Doesn't look that way. Doesn't sound that way. It's not as small as that would have been, but hey,
Yeah.
if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's definitely not. If you're at all interested, I say give it a shot. And I say give it a shot. The tutorial stuff is not that long. It is only about 2 to 3 hours, whereas in some of the previous ones, you need to play a good 7 hours for it to get good. I think it takes about 3 hours for this to hit you where you'll realize, like, I either love this or I hate this.
Okay.
I don't think there's an in-between.
I think that's exactly what it's going to be. And it sounds like for you, it's not so much the story, the nitty gritty of the story.
Yeah,
And that's the
exactly.
part I'm worried I'm going to miss out on. It sounds like it's more about the music and the new locations. And
Disney?
Yeah, do you like Disney?
yeah, I'm
Okay.
like,
You're not
okay.
It's not
Not
gonna say
for
for you.
you.
I mean, I appreciate it, but I'm not like, oh my God, Disney. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just cool stuff like Zachary Levi being the voice of Flynn Rider from Tangled. And like, you just see him and like, he has just different lines. The way the
Yeah.
characters act feels so authentic. And to see them interact with weird anime characters, that's just cool. It's a premise to me that I'm like, that's all that I need. I do wish the dialogue was better than saying darkness and hearts
Darkness.
and
Data.
nobodies and data every 5 seconds. But there you go. All right, we're going to get into the Resident Evil 2 spoiler cast, but before we do that, this episode of Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by Upstart. Applying for a loan is a lot like applying for a job that you don't get to interview for. Instead, loan companies make their decisions based off your credit score and history without getting to know the whole you. Now, thanks to Upstart.com, it never has to be that way again. Upstart is revolutionizing the way you borrow money by rewarding you for your job experience and education in the form of a smarter interest rate. And that's awesome. Right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Think about it. When we were starting Kind of Funny, we had a whole lot going on in our lives. This sounds like a great product that would have helped us so much getting started. Unlike traditional credit underwriting, which could be biased against people with short credit history, Upstart goes beyond the traditional stuff when assessing your credit worthiness. Upstart believes you're more than just your credit score. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate in less than 2 minutes without affecting your credit score, and that's huge. I have a lot of friends that have had a lot of issues with that in the past, so this sounds great. The best part, once your loan is approved, the funds will be transferred to you the very next business day, the next day, within 24 hours. Wow. Wow, you cannot ask for more. Over 100,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards, student loans, fund their wedding, or to make a large purchase. Feel free to free yourself from the burden of high-interest credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. Hurry to upstart.com/kindafunny to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes 2 minutes and won't affect your credit. That's upstart.com/kindafunny, upstart.com/kindafunny. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of the Kind of Funny. Actually, Kev, are we doing the thing where we do it later? Cool. We're not going to do that now.
Oh, God.
Greg.
Oh, shit, but I'm filling the waters. I was drinking dog water, and then Britt needs water, and then I almost bit it right through the wall, and I spilled water all over the wall.
Well, we're just going to hang out then.
Let's just hang
2
out.
seconds. Talk about your favorite button on a controller.
My favorite button on a controller.
All right.
Triangle, what's up?
Honestly, I'm going to go the any DualShock.
Yeah.
1 through 4. The analogs. I just love R3 and L3. I love clicking those
Really?
things
You look
in.
like it is satisfying.
I thought you were about to say you look like a R3 guy.
Like an R3 guy.
I've
or
always
the
hated-
analog triggers on the GameCube controller.
I've always hated the R3 just because, like, I feel like you can always pull it up a little, and I hate that feeling.
I don't. I think my favorite controllers overall are just PlayStation controllers because they just make
All right.
sense.
My girl,
Except
I
for
love
the
it.
6-axis, way too light. It felt scary.
You know, it's totally a Brit thing, and I admit that. But like the L1, L2, R1, R2 makes total sense to me.
Me too.
But on an Xbox controller, the LB and then
Oh,
what
yeah,
is it,
yeah.
LT?
Yeah, it's way too complicated.
I refer to everything in
Thank you, Greg.
PlayStation.
Me too.
Yeah.
Nomenclature. Cool, Greg.
Yeah.
What's your favorite button on a video game controller?
Oh, the X for sure.
The X for
X.
show.
Yeah.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Specifically the PlayStation 2X.
I mean, they nailed it with the PlayStation
Also
controller.
the GameCube, the little R. You know, whatever was bouncy.
See, that was my answer. I respect you, Cool Greg. Respect you a lot.
You know what I didn't like was the N64 joystick.
Just in general.
Oh, sure.
It was
Any
like
of the
powdered
buttons.
everywhere. It would get powdery.
It was so powdery.
Yeah.
God.
That's fine.
Mario Party.
Yeah, I was going to say Mario Party
You gotta, like,
spinning around that circle.
Yeah, you
All
gotta
right.
use your palm.
So, ladies and gentlemen, from here on out on this episode of the Kind of Funny Gamescast, we're talking about Resident Evil 2. Full spoilers. Full entire spoilers. If you have not played the game yet to its end, walk away now. Unless you don't care. You just want to hear some hype. Stay for the ride. Stay for the ride. Starting.
Wait, real quick. Do you want me to put the little Spoiler Bros thing on?
No, because
Nah.
it'll have to be there the entire show.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Why don't you just then?
Ugly.
I would want you to take down the Kind of Funny Gamescast image then and put spoilers there. But you don't know how to do that. You don't have that kind of technology. So, see you.
Right.
Starting now. Great. You are one of the 2 biggest Resident Evil 2 fans I've ever known. Probably in existence. What did this remake do for you?
Oh man. So obviously I cried when I saw the trailer at PlayStation's E3.
Well, there's
gift
that
of you.
amazing GIF of you like
Of
this,
me.
right?
Can you try to find this, Kev?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pinned on my Twitter profile.
Love it.
Yeah, it's hard when you remake something like this, especially 1998, a survival horror game with fixed camera angles, tanky ass controls. Boo. Yeah, and it put off a lot of people, and it's hard to remake something like this in a modern setting that I feel like is going to be appealing to fans like us who have the nostalgia, but fans like maybe Greg or people who just have never played before but are interested. Oh, yes. And that was such a good... I didn't know Andrea was recording.
Thank God she was.
Oh,
Thank
I
God
know.
this exists on the internet.
That was right when it said Resident Evil 2 on the reveal screen. So I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I mean, I did go to a couple of preview events, and after those, I had a feeling. I was like, this is going to, I think, reinvent and reinvigorate the survival horror genre, because I think we've had The Evil Within, we've had Dead Space, but I feel like if you look at the influence of those games, they came from Resident Evil. And so for this to come back and for it to be executed so perfectly, it was just everything I wanted. Now, granted, I'm a diehard fan. What I really would have liked too would have been maybe like a 45-minute intro to the game where you got to see what Claire was doing before she decided to leave to go find Chris, or what Leon was doing before he, decided to take off to Raccoon City. Give us some more insight and backstory. But this is a remake. This isn't a reimagination, and that's something I had to keep reminding myself as I was playing this. I wanted to see more dialogue with Marvin and Kendo and Ada, but what we did
That's coming in the DLC.
Oh man, I am so excited.
I can't believe it. I'm pretty impressed with that.
I am so excited. We get to play as Kendo, and we get to play as the mayor's daughter, which I think finally has an official name, Catherine, which is wonderful because she's had many names throughout the lore, and the unnamed USS soldier, Umbrella Security Service. But no, I obviously love it, and I love everything about it.
Yeah. Kevin, I just sent you a video to Control. Can you bring it up? I don't know if we've talked about this. I know I've talked about it at lunch with a lot of people, and I don't remember what show it was. But do you remember how they announced they were making this game?
Oh, God.
We do it.
It was years ago, right?
2015.
It was years ago.
2015.
Years ago. They released this video out of nowhere. This wasn't E3. This wasn't even like TGS. It was just like a random tweet. They tweet out this video. Kev, please bring it up.
I can only bring it up with just the video.
That's
Great.
Fine. Okay. Yeah. Don't need audio. Scroll forward a bit.
Watch Mojo. I don't remember that from the thing at all.
So here we go.
And
He's standing there, and he's next to the screen that says Resident Evil 2 Remake. And then eventually he just takes off his jacket, revealing a shirt that just says, "We do it."
We do it.
Oh, yeah, they do it.
And all of us are like, "You're not going to do it." Like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. This seems like something that nobody approved. And you're just like, hey, I guess
we do it.
Like, everything about this looks so lo-fi and so just like, I didn't believe you. And I remember having Huber on Gamescast last year. I mean, it was before E3, and we had a big talk of like, is it real? Are they ever actually gonna announce it, like in a real way, reveal it?
Right.
And we were going back and forth. We did not expect to see it at E3.
Oh, see, I had a feeling.
Oh yeah, well, we always had a feeling.
I
but it was
I
like,
wore my Claire and Leon tank top to that press conference.
Yeah?
I was like, it's happening.
oh my god,
Oh, and it fucking happened.
that is
Oh, and it happened all right. Thanks.
because I remember. I mean, we did reactions to it, and when we first saw it, I'm like, this looks like the RE7 engine. But I was like, why is it from a RAS point of view? This is fucking weird. But when you saw the PS1, I was like,
Is this
it's it.
Right.
They're fucking doing it. And I was so impressed with that. And then playing it later that week at E3,
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is far along. This is awesome. And I was just so impressed that they actually like were delivering a modern take on it. And it wasn't like Remake 1.
No.
Remake 1 was amazing
It was.
for the time. And still is amazing.
But they kept the fixed camera angles. They didn't go over the shoulder. Yeah.
And it's like, I've never been too tied to the original Resident Evil games. I love them, but it's like, I'd rather better games. You know what I mean? I feel like this is a better game. Do you think this is the definitive RE2?
Oh yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I think this is better than the original in every way. I think this is the best Resident Evil game that's been put out.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Hands
Yeah, but I
down.
didn't believe you, but if Britt's
Yeah.
saying it, I fucking
Yeah.
believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For years, everybody riding this Resident Evil 4
Well, and
train and
it's,
yak, you know?
Capcom's
Shoot.
just kind of, they lost their footing for a bit. I mean, I know Resident Evil 4 is acclaimed as one of the best Resident Evil games. It wasn't my personal favorite, but I know a lot of people appreciate it for
We
the
moved away from
revamp.
the zombies, right?
Yep. Wait, no, I like zombies.
No, I'm saying that's why we didn't like it. That's why
Oh,
Resident Evil 4 I
okay.
played. I'm like, oh, just a bunch of angry town people that are weird.
Yeah.
I want zombies.
Last podcast, yeah. Yeah, and Resident Evil 4, because they did move away from the tank controls and whatnot over shoulder now. And then Resident Evil 5 was just a little different. Resident Evil 6, Capcom didn't really know what they were doing. Leon's campaign, I thought, was good because it was kind of traditional. And then Resident Evil 7 obviously took the series in this whole new direction with this first-person view, these new characters. There are some tie-ins to characters that we know toward the end of that game. But with Resident Evil 2, I feel like they took the perfect mix of Resident Evil 4 and the formula of Resident Evil, which makes it so magical, and they combined it just and executed it perfectly.
As someone that is way more intimately familiar with the original game than I am, because I beat it once when I was really young. Like I had a fleeting memory of a lot of things. What do you like that they omitted from the first one, and what do you wish that they had in this that they didn't?
So what I wish they had done in this one a little bit more were the journal entries, the documents that you would find scattered around the original OG RE2. You do find those in the remake as well, but what the original one has is more insight into some of what the characters are doing. For example, this is a spoiler cast, so I can talk about it. When you find Chris's note in the Star's office, he says, I'm in Europe. I met up with a hot chick. Guess what we got up to under her?
Don't come finding me, Barry.
Yeah. Like, guess what we got up to under her big dumb umbrella or big umbrella, whatever he said. 1 month is not nearly enough. I'm going to have to extend it. And if you read that, you're like, okay, this Chris guy sounds like an asshole, like a tool kind of. But if you know what you're looking for, he is actually in Europe trying to take down Umbrella's headquarters in Europe. So it's a coded message sent to the STARS members.
Yeah.
And that's something that's actually revealed in the Resident Evil 2 original game.
Oh. See, for me, again, someone who has no real connection outside of RE4, like 10 seconds of the original RE2, RE7, when I played it and found the note as Leon, right, he makes no reference to it, and this is in the remake. And then last night with Claire, when she or maybe it wasn't last night, but when I played through this recently with Claire, she's like, this doesn't sound like my brother. But even then I was like, oh. And then, again, I'm trying to piece it all together off of my memory. I'm like, well, he was in the first game at the mansion, right? So did Umbrella send this letter to hide the fact that he's at the I was like, I don't know.
Right, and I think that's something that people have had an issue with too. Tim, you probably know this. Resident Evil just never does a really great job at explaining what the hell's going on in their story. I mean, I've spent hours upon hours on the Resident Evil wiki, like looking into this lore. I've read all of the novels. I have the compendium books.
God, what, SP Perry?
SD Perry, I think, or
Perry,
SP.
man.
Yeah, she's legit.
I love those things.
Oh yeah.
Fucking, there was novels that were like kind of considered the official canon of Resident Evil because it like filled in a lot of the gaps. They were awesome because they were so faithful to the
I think that's actually where Mr. X came from.
It was.
Yeah.
But he wasn't,
that guy.
He wasn't even called
an ass.
Mr. X. Like,
Yeah.
he was just the tyrant.
The
or whatever.
tyrant.
But I love it because in the novels, like Resident Evil 1, they'll go into detail about the puzzles.
Oh, yeah? Like why they're that way?
Yeah, it's
that's funny.
But it'll be like, yeah, and then I got the blue thing and I brought it over here. It's like, this is so funny.
It's so good. No, I'm just so happy with it. And it makes me so happy that I feel like people who haven't played Resident Evil before, like Andrea, sat down and finished Claire's campaign in one sit through because she was so enthralled by it. I'm like, yes. I'm just so happy.
I feel like it's such an accomplishment for that reason, but I also like what you were saying about the not having all the lore and stuff. I feel like that is kind of to the benefit of the game because I feel like they really stripped a lot of the stuff that made it convoluted and tried to tie it too much. Whereas like the really only tie to Resident Evil 1 in this is the fact that Chris is Claire's brother.
Yeah.
Right. And when we get that in the letter, like what your read of it, totally fair. Right. It's like that could have been it and that would have been fine. I like that they focused on Leon and Claire entirely.
Well, I mean, like, this is what I always wanted out of the Resident Evil games. And again, so like the first one I ever played was PS2 Code Veronica. I mean, played all the way through.
That's my favorite.
Where I was like, I'm all the way in. But that, and then, playing 4, I always felt like they just got so unwieldy. They always start in a very cool place. You know how much I love zombies. I love zombies as much as you do. And so I always wanted to love RE2, and then it just couldn't work because of the tank controls on PS1. I just didn't feel, in the fixed camera angles, it didn't work for that game for me. And I always, when I went looking for these other Resident Evil games, it was getting too crazy. And so for this one to jump in, like we've talked about, you jump into this game and it is a reined in, grounded zombie story. Like there's only a couple major bosses or monsters and you learn them and you understand them. And I know why, I know who they are. Like I know why this person exists, what they were before. That's awesome. That's what I need out of that. And the cast of characters is small enough for me to totally understand motivations, connections. Playing through Claire's, for second run.
So now you beat everything.
Yep, I beat everything. Oh, I didn't do Fourth Survivor. I started that last night and I was like, cool, I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. But like I get it. I'm just running around shooting shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got that vibe from it of just like the fucking the music and the tempo. And I'm like, I'm fucking going.
The only thing you need to know from it is that Hunk gets the
G-Virus.
The G-Virus that is dropped from the Leon's campaign.
Oh, is that?
Right?
Yeah. All I know is Umbrella. Okay.
Oh, it's just pushing up the glass.
So Umbrella has sent their
Elite Special Forces unit.
There you go, the USS, to extract the G-Virus because William Birkin he created the T-Virus in the G-Virus. And how the T virus eventually got leaked was during that cassette tape that you can watch, where he steps on some of the vials, and then the rats. That's why the rat was in the reveal trailer, right? The rats take it into the water supply, and then they infect everyone, and then eventually spreads to Raccoon City. So anyway, Umbrella has sent their Secret Service there to extract the sample. Because what William Birkin's trying to do is he's trying to sell the sample to the U.S. military or government in order for asylum, because he wants to protect him and his family, because he's trying to get this executive position with an Umbrella, and they're kind of denying him, and they're basically saying, we want your sample and we want to get rid of you. And he's like, no, I worked really hard on this, so I'm going to go sell it to the military and make a lot of money and then be protected from Umbrella, because Umbrella's everywhere. So that's what the USS is there for, and Hunk is part of that team that goes in to get the virus.
And see, again, to this game's credit, I knew all that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I read the emails, I watched the videotapes, I was like, I understand what's happening and why people are doing this and how we got to this situation.
Yeah. So when you guys played, what order did you do?
I did Leon first, and then I did Claire, second
Same
run.
here.
I did Claire and then Leon.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I wonder how different it is doing the opposite. Like,
It's not that different. So I've done all 4 runs. And
in this one?
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
She's a big fan.
Yeah, that's kind of all I've been doing with my life.
What is different then?
Okay, so the main campaigns for the most part are the exact same in terms of puzzles and where you find the items and whatnot. What's a little different is like Leon will never get the heart key, and Claire will never get the
Shamrock
club.
key? Yeah.
They're Shamrock. So there are certain rooms. So if you play as Leon, you'll never get into the chief's office, for example.
Yeah.
In the second runs, they're more or less the same as well, except for the same sort of things. Obviously, your interaction with characters are a little different. And in the second runs, safe combinations and lettered locks are all the same, but like the medallion solution is different. When you're in the nest, when you have to make the herbicide, that solution is different. So they switch that up a little bit. But it's basically the same thing. You get all of the same character beats as you get in the main campaign and second run. So if you're playing as Claire, you're going to get all the stuff with Sherry and both, and same with Leon with Ada.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite bits of this game were the Sherry bit, which surprised me because it's like usually those like
The orphanage stuff?
Yeah, it's like,
God, that was
great,
so good.
I need to play as this fucking little kid, and you're like, this is gonna suck. Man, no, that was so intense, so scary. It really delivered on the horror of the game, and like having to hide from that guy.
Yeah,
I believed it. I was in, you know.
And that was really cool about the orphanage is this is a whole new thing to Resident Evil lore that we had never really known about before. And what we find out is that Irons is the director of the orphanage. And what you learn while reading the notes in there is that all of the children in there are actually subjects for the testing by Umbrella. And if you read Tom's journal where he mentions his friend Oliver, he's like, hey, my friend Oliver got adopted. This is really cool. I'm kind of sad, but like good for him. And then a few days later, it's like Oliver came back. He was scratching at his face. Something was really wrong. And then he's like, I'm also getting adopted. So that's cool. And then the journal ends. And then what you learn is that Umbrella would say children get adopted when they want to do further testing on them. And when Oliver came back, they just killed all the kids.
Yeah.
Because
Jesus.
like, and what that really does is shine a really dark light on Umbrella. We've always known Umbrella have been assholes, obviously creators of these bioweapons and whatnot, but to go as far as murdering children and having a fake orphanage for the sake of your testing, it's just like, damn, they're real dicks.
In the original game, because I remember you play as Sherry, but it wasn't the orphanage. What did you do in that game that wasn't in this?
So in the original Resident Evil 2, you play as Ada and Sherry, and you do the exact same thing for the most part. It's when you're trying to get into the sewers, and when you play as Sherry, you crawl through a vent or you climb into a tunnel or something, and you get a key for Claire, and then you can pick up some other like grenade rounds. And same with Ada, you pick up a key, I think, and you do some other stuff. So what you play as Ada and Claire in the original is the same. So this time, obviously, what you do as both characters is vastly different.
Yeah. So I loved the Sherry stuff.
Yeah.
When I did Leon as my second campaign and I switched over to Ada, I was playing the moment they introduced the like weird EMP thing. I was
Tracing it back to the wall.
This sucks. I was like, I hate this. This isn't fun at all. Like, why? This is like such a blemish on this game. But then once Mr. X came and started chasing me down, I'm like, oh, I don't just have a limited time to like figure this out. And it was like, I had to act in a tense moment. I'm like, this is great. This is fucking awesome.
Fucking Mr.
And like,
X.
I just feel like this game has so many of those moments where it's just like, there'll be a moment that I'm frustrated. And then I instantly learn that I shouldn't have been frustrated. I'm supposed to feel this way, and it's rewarding, like from a gameplay perspective. And gameplay adding with fear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Every single thing that happens in this game gets back to trying to scare you.
And it works.
Yep.
Oh, and it's so good.
I screamed through every playthrough, and I'm not a screamer when we play games in general, let alone being scared. And like the amount, like, you know, it's funny you bring up the frustration that's supposed to be there. For me, the Leon campaign was so great, where I was playing through and I felt powerful. I'm being, okay, Mr. S, I'm running from him. I'm fighting the bosses. I only died a couple times, right? And it was mainly me learning the rules of the world.
Sure.
Starting Claire's second run, there were so many times where I'm like, I'm gonna quit. I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not enjoying myself. But it would be that thing of putting down and be like, all right, no, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, the game is so good, and it was frustrating me because I was still trying to play it like I was playing Leon's, which was, I felt, unlimited time to do everything. I feel like he was a quicker shot maybe, or maybe more powerful or something to that effect. I felt, I don't know why, just more inept as Claire. And I don't know if that's just in my head or not, but it was also second run, which I when I was texting you, I'm like, am I supposed to be moving quicker? Mr. X got introduced way earlier for me, so it was that I never felt safe. I never felt comfortable. I never had it. I felt like zombies were on me way more. I was just so like, fuck.
That booty.
Mr. X was introduced way earlier for me too in the second run. I think that's just how it is. And I played opposite of you, but I had the flipped experience where I played as Claire first and then Leon. And with Claire, it took me, I don't remember how long I said, but however many hours, but I beat the next one in one sitting, and it felt like a breeze.
Yeah.
Playing as Leon felt a lot easier, and I wonder if that's just how it is.
It could have something to do with the weapons Leon has, because I feel like the shotgun is just a fantastic weapon. And Claire does have the rocket launcher, the grenade launcher, and she does have the flame rounds and acid rounds, which are nice, but they're not as powerful. I don't think. Maybe they are, but you get more of the
longer
acid.
to reload. And I was like mainly trying to save those for bosses.
Yeah,
right?
lickers or bosses. Yeah. Also, so this is the thing that I tell everyone is Mr. X in the second run gets introduced as soon as you pick up the battery in the Star's office.
Yeah.
So if you do everything you can before you do that, you're gonna have an easier time. So
I did not.
Right.
So it's constantly boom, boom, fuck, just run.
Yeah. That's what happens.
Man.
Yeah.
This game, like I'm going to be shocked if this isn't my game of the year.
Wow.
And I said that last
Same.
year with Celeste, and then I was proven wrong with God of War, so I hope I am, because more good games, the better. But, talking about it, I want to play again.
Exactly. As soon as I start talking about it, I really, really want to go back and play
There's
again.
just so many moments, and, thinking about the architecture of the police department and just, the way that it's designed, and somehow 13 hours in, I'm still scared to go down certain corridors.
Oh, man.
Where the staircase is?
Yes.
It's like going through there, there's these fucking zombies, and I know they're going to be there, and there's lickers now.
And they're going to pound on the windows.
Fuck, man. Those lickers are terrifying. And they never stop being terrifying. And it's
you bring
crazy.
up, lickers in the second run. Like that, and when I had started playing my second run, we then came in and did the Gamescast last week where we could talk about it. And it was that thing where I'd only play a little bit, and I was like, oh man, I'm kind of mystified that it is the same. Like, you know what I mean? I always assumed that you got two very different stories rather than to come back together. You're like, well, things are different. You should keep playing. I was like, no, I'm going to keep playing, but this is my first blush of it. Playing through it the last 2 nights or whatever, it was really cool of like, oh, fuck, right, the kennels. Dogs in here, and you open up and the liquor has eaten and fucked up all the dogs. And I was like,
and that's in the second run.
That's really cool. Yeah,
Dude,
that was really cool.
So cool. It's I love it. And I was saying my biggest criticism of the game, why I'd give it a 9 and not a 10, is I just wish that with how much love they put into fixing things and changing things and adding the orphanage and all that, I wish that they had made the campaigns different. So that A and B run felt more like, oh, she's coming through after what Leon did, so the doors are already unlocked.
So the zapping system, that's the RE2 technical thing, right? So it kind of comes down to, if you take this thing from this locker, an OG RE2, and then you go back in as Claire or Leon, it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Or depending on how you defeat the alligator, right? Depending on how you do that in the main run, the second run, you might have to do something different. So yeah, I mean, I would like that too. I would just like a lot more different content.
But I mean, I feel like you nailed it right at the beginning of this isn't a reimagining, this is a remaster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for them to add too much more stuff, I think wouldn't have made a lot of sense, especially since I think that Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is being remade. I'm pretty confident in that, and that is that's where the story picks up after Resident Evil.
Does that
2.
excite you?
Oh yeah.
But I mean, does that excite you?
Oh yeah.
That sounded very sexual. I love
It
it.
was.
But does that excite you in the same way that RE2 remake did?
So if you would have asked me this question, back when it was revealed in June. Do you want RE2 or do you want RE3? I would have said RE2. But now that I've played Resident Evil 2, and we got a few glimpses of Raccoon City, obviously not as much as I would have liked, but that's all in Resident Evil 3, right? Because you're playing as Jill and you're walking around and you're doing all these things.
So yeah, as a noob, like I don't know what Nemesis was. Like I picked up with Code Veronica and started there.
Nemesis is a tyrant that's been infected with the Nemesis parasite. And so he's essentially like the tyrant, but he's supposedly... So the tyrant in the original Resident Evil 2 was just someone who would follow you around in certain areas. Like
Sure.
he wouldn't follow you throughout the game. He would bust through walls every now and again, but he wouldn't actively seek you out. The Nemesis is kind of like the tyrant in this one. He seeks you out.
Okay.
And he's supposed to be a more intelligent being.
Okay.
He's hunting
And so
down
stars.
you're playing as Jill Valentine.
Member of
you're
the STARS team.
in your open world.
So Resident Evil 3 takes place before, kind of during, and then after Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
So in Resident Evil 3, you play as Jill Valentine trying to escape the city, right? She gets infected by the Nemesis virus. She is knocked out. At that point is when Claire and Leon's campaign takes place.
Okay.
After they leave, at some point, Jill wakes up, and then she eventually leaves the city, and then that's when Raccoon City is obliterated and nuked.
Gotcha.
So it's her and this other dude,
Carlos,
who
right?
Okay.
Kind of sucks, if I'm being
I was gonna say I've heard of
Not the
Jill.
most
Obviously,
fleshed
I
out
do not
character.
know Carlos.
Yeah.
And that's my problem. And again, this is somebody that is not a fan of the franchise in that way. I loved this game so much that I would love for them not to remake RE3, but for them to just make RE3 and it be a new thing where it is Jill. Sure, we can let's bring Chris back, but like, let's still keep the cast small. Like, I feel like Carlos was the moment for me where I'm like, this is too many people that like I don't care about. And
Interesting.
I liked Jill. And even then, though, they made Jill like, it was the 90s. It was a different time.
And her little tube top and skirt.
Yeah, blue tube top, right? And like the
This is
beret.
practical?
Yeah, and it's just like you're just fucking like police officer. Like this is weird. A lot of that stuff was weird, but I wish that they would just kind of keep going down this route.
And I feel like they probably could with Resident Evil 3 because Jill doesn't have a huge presence in the future Resident Evil titles, whereas obviously Leon does and so does Claire in Resident Evil 2, so they probably couldn't have done anything
What about
too different.
RE5, right?
RE5, yeah, you got... That's your...
Let's just pretend that didn't happen.
Poor Chris.
She becomes a superhero.
I remember when RE5 and RE6 and they just became straight up action games, right? And they just totally deviated off this path. And that, again, to what you said earlier, right, is what's so refreshing and what's so funny about it being refreshing for Resident Evil 2 Remake is the fact that this is survival horror in a way that this is survival horror for a whole generation of gamers who have not seen this in forever. Evil Within, sure, but even Evil Within was more story and niche, right, than I think it was meant to be. And so many people are like, man, this is the best one since Dead Space. And you're like, well, yeah, because Dead Space is so inspired by Resident
Where do you
Evil,
think Dead
right?
Space came from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like such a huge accomplishment for it. Like, I think in the way that that's resonating, and again, the feeling, because I think we're so forgetful of what survival horror is / was, of, yeah, like, when I started Resident Evil 2 Remake, it was, oh, cool, zombies, pop, 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 pop. And I was like, oh, fuck, oh, right, fuck, this is survival horror.
Game.
Run past them, dodge them, bring them to you. And, we always talk about our zombie planes. Like, bring them to you on a certain side so you can edge around them and
Run
get
around
away.
them. Yeah. And they've even implemented on the survival aspects with the upgradable inventory and stuff. That's new,
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Like, well, it wasn't in Resident Evil 7. It wasn't in Resident Evil 2. I don't think it was in Resident Evil 7. But so Resident Evil 1.5, have you ever heard about that?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Elsa Walker, and that was the thing. So they took actually some elements from Resident Evil 1.5, and the upgradable hit pouches is one of them. But yeah, I mean, Resident Evil is a survival game, and there are zombies, and it is scary, but it's also about the exploration and the puzzles, right? And this is what I try when I'm trying to pitch my friends, like Andrea and Steimer. I'm like, yeah, it's creepy, but there's some really interesting puzzles and mechanics in there. And
well, I mean, and when I was texting you and telling you, like, man, I'm so blown away. Was the map always this good? Because I feel like the map was always a problem for me. They've done such a great job of designing the map, making you feel empowered, making it understandable at a glance. When I do see something, but I don't have the inventory space, knowing I can leave and it'll be marked on my map now. There's a locked door, jiggle the handle. I know what key I need one day. And Tim is the one who pointed out when I was ranting and raving about how great it is. He's like, yeah, it's more Metroidvania than ever. Where that it's survival horror, but it's also mixed with the idea of, cool, can't do that now, but mental note, I know how to do it. Even mental note of like, oh, there's a dial lock on floor 3. Like, I know that eventually when I find that combo to be beeline to it before I go do this other thing.
And I've been trying to play this game with my husband, and he just doesn't have the patience. He's like, I'm just gonna run around and look at everything,
Jason.
and then run away. I'm like, you can't do that. You have to study, like, what door is here. Like, look at that medallion. That thing has a medallion. You have to. And I get so frustrated, and I'm like, I want to help you, but I just want to play.
But even the thing, like, I feel like they've done a great job of, as long as you interact with it, you know what you need eventually, right? And I feel like I was doing the thing where I was taking screenshots on my phone.
Yeah.
Of like, and only because I didn't feel like turning over the trophy every time, right? Like, but I mean, all the information is at your fingertips in a way that's easily digestible and findable, which I had struggled with Resident Evils of the past, and one of the reasons that I never hung around and actually played it.
This remake makes it feel more like a Metroidvania than an adventure game, like a point-and-click adventure game.
Sure.
And I think that is so much more mainstream and accessible in a good, positive way.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't mind me stopping you for a second, is the accessibility of this. And hats off to Capcom for doing it, because I have no shame in it at all. On my second run, I turned on baby mode.
Oh, hell yeah!
Where I was like,
fun.
I'm getting fucked up by this thing. I just want to play. This is ruining my enjoyment of the game. And I did that thing of like, well, fucking turn on assist mode, whatever. Like, and it wasn't because it was the struggle of that. I was just like, I was down to he's Tyrant's in the room. I have no health items, but this will bring me back up from red just for a little bit. Yeah, why not? And the game was a million times better, and I was able to go through it, and it's like awesome. And it did the thing of, okay, it's weird that you can't turn it off. Once you turn on assist mode, you're locked into it.
Is that because of trophies, you think?
No, because, well, yes, yeah, it is, because there is a standard and a hardcore trophy for a couple different things. Weird, but then also when I did finish it, I was like, now I understand the rules of second run, or at least what I think Claire or second run is. Then it was a thing of like, would I want to do this on hardcore? Would I want to come back and do these things? Do I want to fuck around with it?
No.
Maybe.
You don't want to? You're not going to platinum this?
No. I mean, here's the thing: is I love Resident Evil. I love the lore and the story and all of that, and I love the zombies. But I don't like the challenge.
Sure.
I mean, assist mode is easy, but what it allows me to do is go in and just kind of take everything in and put the zombies down, and then really appreciate what I love about Resident Evil, which is like the level design and all the details that are in every single room, and I can look around and not have the anxiety. So I first played Resident Evil 2 when I was 9 years old, and I had nightmares so bad that I literally had to go see a doctor because I was like, I don't know how to sleep at night. Because every time I would close my eyes, I would think about zombies, like real talk. And so finally, a few years later, when I was older and I had a Game Shark, I was able to play Resident Evil 2 with like the infinite rocket launcher ammo and infinite health. And then I was like, this has quickly become one of my favorite games ever.
Oh, wow.
So
what a great story.
Yeah. So I don't like the I get enough of the survival horror aspect, the horror aspect from just playing it.
Yeah.
I don't need the challenge.
For me, like the one that kills it for you, I know there's a question about trophies eventually, but the one that kills me is like, do it in this many steps. And I'm like, well,
like 14,000 steps.
I don't want to do that
like
thing.
Classic Resident Evil. Though.
I know.
Yeah,
but again, accessibility, right?
Yep.
That's not
Trophies
that's
aren't
not
supposed to be accessible.
Well,
though.
yeah, exactly. Like you can dial it and play the experience you want and get it, and then feel like you want it. Maybe I want to play it again. Maybe I want to do the second kind of playthrough or the fourth or third. But yeah, if you want to crank up that difficulty, you do. Like I saw Michael Jones. Yeah, putting out his S ranks in his 2.5 hours. And it's like, that's awesome. And I could see me one day trying to do something like that if I really wanted to. Because even Resident Evil 7, where I was like, there's work here, but I love this game. Like this is two Resident Evils in a row that I'm like, easily going to be on my top 10 list at the end of the year, and awesome games.
It's so cool.
I'm so
right?
excited.
It's so fucking cool. And another thing, I feel like the reason that I love this game so much is it fixed a lot of issues I had with a franchise that I theoretically love. Resident Evil is classic. It's so cool. I love the characters. I love the idea of it. But I've always had so many issues with like little things here or there or whatever. But what we just talked about, it's less adventure game, more Metroidvania. But also for me, the boss fights. Boss fights in these type of games are always like, when you get to them, you have that feeling of like, fuck, I don't want to deal with this because it's like, I'm not trained. I don't know how to play against you. You're so much stronger than me. This isn't fucking fun.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
This game, I don't have that feeling.
Fun.
This game is fun. This game, I feel like I understand what I need to do to beat them. It's challenging.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just like easy and a breeze, but it's like, I never feel overwhelmed with frustration.
How the fuck am I going to do this?
Yeah, it's never like, this is bullshit. I'm giving up. It's always like, I'm doing this wrong. Clearly, I must find something. Like the crane fight.
Oh,
right?
the crane fight. Yeah.
Like when you do that, I'm like, okay, cool. Totally understand.
I get it.
Because it took a while. I was fighting him, like going head on. I'm like, how am I going to beat this? But then it was like rewarding to figure it out.
What I found interesting again where I like accessibility or accessible mode instead of standard was that crane fight I did on standard. Leon, I just played through on a normal playthrough. Got killed, didn't knock him off the first time. Then I was like, oh, okay, downed him, knocked him off, great. Coming through at the end of Claire's, right? Not the final, but what would be the final of like, you've got the girl on the train.
Claire A final. right?
Well, Claire's second run, not final, not where my train's getting eaten for the true ending.
Oh yeah.
But what would be the final fight there, right? Where I have the train car there, and he's hopping around his eyeball chest, right? Played it totally wrong my first time, and still lost, got killed, and it was like that thing of like, oh cool, it isn't baby ass baby like I can take a million hits. It was like, no, I can still get fucked up here. I still need to think this through. What is the answer? Okay, run, pop the eyes. My grenade launcher isn't doing the damage. Shoot him in the chest.
Yeah, pop
and
those eyes.
That's my thing. Is the end of this game to me is perfect. It is such a reward where it's challenging boss fights. I'm gonna say all three, whether it's Claire's final fight, Leon's final fight, or the final fight. I feel like it's so perfectly paced where you're like, you've played this whole game, you understand this. There's been plentiful boss fights that none of them feel frustrating. They feel like you're playing within the world and rules that they've created for you. But when I played Claire's first round and I was in that fight, I felt powerful. Like you get the fucking minigun. And you're just like, it felt earned. It didn't feel like, oh, they're just giving you this just because it's cool. It's like, no, this makes sense with the progression of this game. And I loved that. Leon's final fight, when you're going down that elevator.
Circle strafing, figuring out what to do.
So intense when you're going through it all. But when Ada helps you out, you're like,
right.
Fuck yeah. And then when you get that final fight, that is so easy. You're like the final, like when you beat both campaigns. And you're
the true ending.
And the true ending, you're essentially, it's just like
shoot the giant fucking eyeball.
Just fucking blow it up. Just fucking blow it up. I just love that because it reminds me of Super Metroid or Halo or like these, like, you've done all this stuff. Here's your reward. You're going to have fucking fun. You're going to do this and it's going to be awesome. And that's what, going back to what I was talking about earlier with Kingdom Hearts, I can't wait for the end because I know it's going to be like that. It's going to be this moment of, hey, you put up with all this for this moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like Resident Evil 2 does that as good as the games that I just mentioned. Like the end of Halo is so rewarding when you're in the Warthog and everything's blowing up and you're trying to escape. That's so fucking fun. Resident Evil 2 to me at the end was fun for the first time. It wasn't scary anymore. And like, that's super cool.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because as someone who's played Resident Evil 2 a whole bunch, I knew most of the story beats that were going to happen. Obviously, the orphanage was brand new in some of those documents. But the fact that this game still kept me so enthralled and interested, despite the fact I knew we were going to go down to the sewers. I knew we were going to... The nest, that was really cool. Because that was one of my gripes with original RE2, is that wasn't a fully fleshed out like area, right? It felt like it was vacant. There was no personality to it. It was just kind of a dead lab. But what they did with the nest was really fun, and so I want to applaud Capcom for that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But despite, knowing that all these things were coming, I still was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen next? I knew all those fights were coming.
Well, it's because the moment to moment is so good.
Right.
Where it is, and that's what else we talked about, right? Where it doesn't escalate into crazy different kinds of zombies. It's just mostly zombies. And then, okay, here are the zombie dogs. Okay, going into the nest and the arboretum, right? And that's, it's fucking plant zombies. I'm like,
zombies.
Wow, these guys are terrifying because I've hit them a million times.
I like those designs a lot better than original Resident Evil 2 plants. They're literally just plants.
Yeah.
But this time they're actually like humans that have been
And I love that because like that's what we keep talking about. It's like, it feels like this world exists. It's Nolanized. It's like, okay, cool. They're not plants. They're humans that had a virus and there's plant shit, so they are mutated, weird fucking, like, I get that. I buy that in the same way dogs, I buy it. The alligator's the one thing.
Nah, whatever. It was fun and whatever.
That was just a fan service.
It was so fan servicey it was
service.
over so quick, and it was, again, fun. That was a fun situation you went through. Crash Bandicoot, shout out. Run away from the camera. But man, it was like, besides that, the game is grounded. And even that, like, there's enough dialogue that I'm like, I'll give it to you. And
it's so much better too, though, speaking of like grounded dialogue, than the original RE2. Leon and Ada apparently fall in love within the few like scenes they have together, and it's like, okay, this is like a 90s cheesy action flick, whatever.
I love it.
Right? But this time around,
kiss. That
was a good kiss. Yeah, she does. But it was good to see Leon in this one kind of a backbone, especially when he finds out that Ada is, double crossing him. And he was like, well, I'm a cop, so blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, you tell her. Because in the other one, he's like, Ada would never do that. She's a saint. She's so pretty. And then and then he feels sad. And then Ada!
Yeah.
But this time it felt more believable. And I really like that they did that.
I feel like the dialogue in this game is good.
It's good.
There we go, baby.
There's the alligator friend.
We just talked long enough to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I actually feel like it's good.
Yeah.
And that is crazy for a Resident Evil game because they are infamously bad.
Infamous for like the lock picking joke, right?
Yeah, exactly. But no, this was great. I feel like so much of it makes sense. My question for you, DLC, I don't understand it. What does this fit in? What's it gonna be?
So the ghost stuff, the stuff that was just announced?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think they've quite revealed what and how it's going to play, but what I do, it's like a what if scenario. So it technically follows the mayor's daughter, Catherine, Kendo, and then an unnamed USS agent.
The what if thing is what throws me off.
So
why is it what if?
I think it's called what if because they're saying that these are survivors that never made it out of the city. And so what if maybe they had a second shot? What if they had their chance at surviving?
Like the old Marvel what ifs, right?
That's
Like,
my
yeah.
guess. So if you look at Catherine, the mayor's daughter, the mayor bailed out of Raccoon City, left his daughter just for the zombies, I guess. And Irons hunted her down in Raccoon City and then tried to turn her into taxidermy, a stuffed human. And so we know
was that plot in this game?
Yes.
I feel like I totally missed that.
So
because I remember that from the first one.
So in the first one, what's happening is you're walking down the hallway and you hear her scream. And then you walk into Iron's office, that's Claire, and then she's laying there with a gash on her stomach, right? And then Irons makes up this bullshit story.
Fuck.
He makes up this bullshit story that she was bitten by a zombie and she's going to turn into one of them in a matter of hours. And so you were always led to believe that she was just bitten by a zombie and she's going to turn. Well, the reality of the situation was that he hunted her down within the Raccoon City. He let her go and hunted her down, and then he killed her, and then he planned to stuff her. And you find that in the orphanage. She's on the pool table.
Yes. I saw that body and I was like, what is this? What is going on? I kind of bounced off and never did anything.
So I'm thinking this is either going to tell the story of before she was captured by Irons, or if she escapes, what if she had escaped, right? And now she's trying to leave. Clearly doesn't work out well for anyone.
Yeah.
Canon-wise.
I just wish the what if stuff was like, not what if, it was like, oh, this is what happened before they died.
I
would
hope so. It might be. Maybe the what if is just bad messaging, because I would love to know what happened with Kendo and his daughter, because that's a whole new beat. The daughter, like, that's brand new, you know?
And that was cool. I liked the way they handled that.
Yeah.
Which one's Kendo?
Kendo's when you leave, when you finally get out of the police department and then you like cross the street, you go into the arms shop.
Oh, right. Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, from my Leon playthrough. Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And it's like such a classic zombie trope where it's just like,
And that was again,
we can't shoot or whatever.
For me, it kind of blew. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I didn't even think about it till as Claire. I ran over there and like, can't go this way. I'm like, oh fuck, good job. Second playthrough. Then I ran around. Nemesis or Mr. X is like chasing me, like
around.
just fucking running on cars. Like, where do I? Oh, they knocked down the gate.
Yeah.
Great.
And so what's cool about that whole part too is you get to see the basketball court and the whatnot and the bus that you get to climb through during Claire's run, and that's all from original Resident Evil 2. The basketball court and the bus and all that stuff I was like nerding out over. I'm like, oh my God, but that's just stuff you might know if you're crazy like I am.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I hope they continue to provide DLC for this. I don't think they can expand on the lore too much, obviously, because, you know, so the canon Resident Evil OG is Claire A, Leon B, because in Claire A, Sherry gets infected with the G virus, Claire heals her, and then in Resident Evil 6, Sherry has regenerative abilities, and she got that from the G virus. But in Claire B, she doesn't get infected. So it only makes sense if you do Claire A, Leon B. So they can't fuck with the lore too much on this, but I feel like they could do some expansion like with Kendo and then Mayor's daughter and stuff like that.
I really hope they just take this in a new direction though. Where
or Marvin DLC.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, so what do you mean? I'm confused. As I did Claire's second. Sherry, it was second run. Sherry did get infected.
She's talking about OG.
Oh,
my apologies. My apologies.
OG, yeah. It's all the same in the
because I feel like they're trying to make a new canon that is remake Remake 2.
Yeah.
And I hope they keep going that direction. Because like so far there's nothing that says this has to be in what we've seen up to RE7.
We have a new timeline.
I hope it is.
Honestly, I think we do. And this is my last like crazy theory. So Brad Vickers, Chicken Heart Brad Vickers from Resident Evil, he's the pilot, right? Or Resident Evil 1.
But doesn't he come back in 0?
He might be in 0. I know he's a pilot in Resident Evil 1 who flew them all out of there to safety in hospital.
Oh, gotcha. He dies in 3.
He dies in 3.
Yeah.
So so it's kind of crazy. So in like I said, Resident Evil 3 takes place before, during, and after Resident Evil 2. So in Resident Evil 2, if you get to the police station without taking any items or weapons, you see a zombified version of Brad Vickers wandering around the underground tunnel. Now in Resident Evil 3, what had happened before that was he was bitten and he actually got impaled in the head by a nemesis tentacle. It happens sometimes.
Sure, of course.
But then if he gets impaled by the head, he shouldn't be a thing that exists. He shouldn't be. It doesn't make any sense canon because you kill a zombie by shooting them in the head. So if his head's destroyed, he should no longer exist. However, in Resident Evil 2, he's still shambling around. He shouldn't be there. So if you go to that same area in Resident Evil Remake, you'll just see a poster of him where he had spawned in Resident Evil 2, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
Okay, so what I'm getting at is I'm thinking they omitted his zombified form because in the Resident Evil 3 remake, he's going to have like a true canon story because it doesn't make any sense for him to be in Resident Evil 2.
Interesting.
Yeah, anyway.
That
I don't know if that
would,
made any
good.
sense,
That's
but
good,
that's
Britt. That's
it.
good.
Yeah.
if we get RE3 remake
Oh
or
my God.
whatever it is, when do you
my
guys
load.
think this happens? 2 years from now? 'Cause
No.
they're on a
I
2-year
think it's been
cycle,
in
right?
development probably for a while now. That's my guess. So
But my thought, I mean, you saw there's rumors, I think it was Reset Era for Resident Evil 8 and like what they're taking away from reaction to this and if they're moving back to a third person perspective or all this different stuff. I think what we've talked about before is similar to Mario that we have this new thing. I think 2 years from now, I think you get Resident Evil 8. 2 years from there, you get Resident Evil 3 Remake. I think they keep doing that way.
I would hope so.
Because, I mean, Resident Evil 7, fucking, they ran away with bags money. I'm sure they're like, let's keep going. What do we got? Let's keep, everybody likes this take. What
This
is
one,
it?
last I saw, was on track to outpace RE7.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah,
no,
definitely.
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it shipped 3 million units, and RE7 is sold like 4.96 or something like
That's
that.
fucking crazy, man.
Deservedly so, man.
Yeah,
Capcom
totally.
killed this.
Yeah.
And
Killed
that's why
this.
DMC5. Oh my god! I mean, Mega Man 11 was not amazing. Like people liked it, but like it wasn't amazing. So it's not like they've been like spotless last year. Yeah, but they had Monster Hunter World, right?
Yeah.
And like again, not everyone's favorite Monster Hunter game,
Those
but
people are stupid and wrong.
Yeah.
but it sold amazingly well. And I look at this, I'm like, DMC5. If I'm being real, looking at it so far, I'm like, there's a lot of cool stuff here, but
It's
I don't
kind of
know.
the
I'm
same.
not sure. It's
Looking
gonna
at
be,
it from an outsider's perspective, I'm like, that, and stick with me, I put that in the Kingdom Hearts group. I'm like, yep, this is for those fans.
It is.
I don't know if that's going to break out of those
and I
fans.
love that. Like they look like they're committing, and I'm super down. But they look like they're making a couple choices. I'm like, why are you doing that? Because we don't want that. But I haven't really played it yet, so hopefully it is as good as this. I don't think it will be, but I
don't think
fucking
so
hope.
either.
I fucking hope. You know, and I believe in Capcom, and I can't believe I'm saying that because like let's think back to
It's so
3
good.
years ago,
Right.
when we're like Capcom's dead.
They're on their way out.
They're on their
Yeah,
way
yeah,
out,
yeah.
and they're not. Let's get to some questions here. Captain Geech says from patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, if you are a bronze member, you can
Oh, look
contribute
what he's
to the
doing
show.
with the plugs.
The original Resident Evil was a huge game in my childhood because I look back on it as a turning point when I realized games could be more than just Mario and tell stories that could engage me on the same level as films. Nothing can be more than Mario. Let me just let you know that right now. Did you see the tweet going out yesterday that was like the people that say, I can't wait till games have their Citizen Kane.
No.
And someone was like, I can't, oh, then the next thing was like, I can't wait till movies have their Stardew Valley. I saw it as a glimpse into the future of what games went to become. And then not long after, Metal Gear Solid turned my brain into shit. Do you guys have a game in your history that evoked that same feeling? Thanks, and keep manually. Okay, I'm going to stop reading there. But,
Something about the chicken.
yeah, it was the chicken. I don't like the chicken stuff.
We're done. Chickens are done.
So what was there a game that blew our mind?
What was the game that made you realize video games have evolved?
Oh, I would say my first RPG was just Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven
nice.
Stars.
Oh,
That
jumping
was,
on that bed in the intro was
oh
a
my,
turning
wasn't that the
point.
best? Just boing boing. Yeah, that was so much fun. That was the first time I was like, oh, because I didn't understand what an RPG was. I actually thought, because I was young and stupid, I thought Mario RPG was actually Mario 64. And then when I got the game in, I was like, this isn't at all what I thought it was. What is this? So I called my aunt, and she explained to me what an RPG was. And then from that moment, I was hooked on the
Man, your aunt was
formula.
cool.
Oh, my aunt, my grandma, man. They're so great.
No.
Yeah, she's the one who got me into games.
If you,
And she
if-
still plays.
For the
She's
record,
great.
if you don't follow Brit's adventures either through What's Good Games or twitter.com/blondenerd, get on that because her entire family is insane.
Yeah.
The photos she'll post of me and Dad are going to go see the Dragon Ball movie, and they're all dressed like Dragon Ball people.
Your picture was amazing.
Thank you. We have so much
So
fun.
good.
We're a nerdy family.
Good. God bless you.
Yeah.
I mean, mine is Metal Gear. I've talked about it a million times. Metal Gear was a turning point in my life. Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1, where I'll never forget putting that in and being like, what the
Never played a Metal Gear game.
Wow,
We've had this
really?
conversation. I know. I'm terrible. I'm awful.
Honestly,
You saw your GameCube
I
break
feel
out
like-
Twin Snakes.
I feel like you'd love it.
I probably would.
If you like Resident Evil, there's a lot of differences,
Sure,
but like
sure.
they're similar in why you'd like it. I think you'd like this.
Okay.
Oh, sure. The detail, the lore, the story.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, so good.
Noted.
I don't know. I feel like my answers are weird because it's not like Metal Gear. Like I feel like Pokemon is my answer, which sounds backwards, but to me, Pokemon was the moment that I realized that video games weren't just a thing that I liked; it's a thing that we liked. You know, it was a thing that I was like, oh, everyone likes video games. It's not just me and Kevin. It's just like everyone in the world does. Like, oh, Pikachu's more popular than Mickey Mouse this year, whatever, all that stuff. Like, it felt like we were part of a movement, and like it was a weird thing where it was, if Mario RPG was your first RPG, Pokemon was mine. Like, I rented Mario RPG, couldn't wrap my head around it. I don't think I could read. It was very complicated. But playing Pokemon though, I was just like this. I felt like I was a part of a
Go ahead, throw that up, Kev. Kev went to, if you're an audio listener, to Blonde Nerd on Instagram and pulled up this great post. My parents found a mask I made in 7th grade of my dad. Clearly hasn't changed much these last 15 plus years.
That is fucking hilarious.
It is a mask that looks exactly like her father currently.
That is amazing, but not as amazing as the painting behind him.
Oh, I know that cat. This picture is old. That's fucking crazy.
God,
what a gem.
Kev, what was your game?
I mean, I think it's Metal Gear, but Sons of Liberty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Metal Gear 2?
Because when Metal Gear Solid 1 came out, way too young. That, like, I remember playing it being like, I can't get past this first, like, why are you, like, swimming? What's happening? Now I'm in this thing. People keep catching me. And then at some point I play Metal Gear 2, and I was just like, whoa. And then he takes the mask off, and I was just like, I don't know who this is.
It's not Snake at all.
This doesn't make any sense because I didn't pay the last game.
Jesus Christ.
How far did you have to scroll back to get the mask of the dad?
Sometimes when I go to someone's Instagram for the first time, I just go,
wow.
Yeah,
Because like literally, third photo is literally the one I mentioned by like exactly what it was.
I haven't seen that picture in years.
I wasn't looking for the photo you mentioned, Greg.
You're a monster and I hate
Bird
Greg
writes in and says, how do you guys feel about the achievement/trophy list for the game? Is anyone going for the platinum?
No. Hell no.
You don't care about any of this stuff, right? Like you're one of those, you fall in that camp. I know you don't care about any of it. Yeah, like I mean,
I do for the games I care about. Smash Brothers.
As somebody who loves a good easy platinum or a platinum for a game I really care about, like as much as I love this game, I looked at it and I have thought about it. I won't end up doing it because again, the step, like when you get me to a trophy for a game that's going to take me hours and it's like I'm going to have to like do the thing where I watch the YouTube video and pause and then do the exact same thing and then watch the YouTube video and pause. Like I'm not going to get out there and be like guesstimating. Well, I think I'm making 1,400 steps or whatever the fuck it. Like, no, I need to know exactly how to do, and you need to say like, "There's a giant buffer. Don't worry about it," or be very. If it's like, if there's a chance, I can even like I remember Uncharted 4's speed run before it turned out it was bugged out, which would have been really helpful. But when I was doing it, I'm just like, if I fuck this up, I'm not coming back. Like I can't do this again. I can't run through this and worry about this shit.
I mean, I considered it, but having to get the S rank and having to do the speed run, the 14,000 steps, it's a speed runner's wet dream. Like all those achievements are, but like not for me.
It's an obtainable one, and I don't think it would be that hard to do. But it's the same thing I would say about Resident Evil 7, and I just never did it.
Right.
Alec Bobco says, as someone who hasn't played any previous Resident Evil games and isn't really a fan of horror games, Until Dawn is probably the scariest game I've played. How is this game from a horror perspective? I've seen all the great reviews the game's been getting, and I don't want to miss out on it if it's really that good. And then James Alexander writes in and says, I loved RE2 as a teen, but I've grown into a giant baby man and don't play/watch any spooky stuff. On a scale of RE4 to Hereditary, how spooky is RE2 4K?
Well, starting at the end there, RE2, and everybody can suck it. RE2 is way scarier than Hereditary. Hereditary I didn't find that scary. I thought it was good moving creepy.
Hereditary is unnerving. It's not
unnerving.
Scary.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
You had to lock the door.
I get it, but it's like that's just more
that's
like
scary for you, all right?
No, but it's
you
not,
had to lock the door when
it was never moments where I'm like, oh, it's moments where I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to live.
I'm just saying every moment I want to stand up and leave.
Me too.
Every
Me
moment.
too, but that's unnerving. It's different.
Resident Evil 2 remake is scary as fuck.
It's the scariest game I've ever played.
I think I agree with that, and before that I would have told you about VR for Resident Evil 7 scary and more creepy even than scary. But before that, Dead Space, because there's a very distinct memory I remember of being on the Ishimura and being like, like you look at my spine, I got like 2 lines, and I'm like, that thing is laying there, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be alive when I get there, but I can't tell if it's gonna be alive. And like walking up on it and like doing the and like Resident Evil, it happened all the time too. Of oh fuck, like okay, that thing down there, shit, is that something to pop up? And then the ones that would just slump over at certain points, open a locker, they fall out, and then walking out and being grabbed. and being grabbed. Like, fuck, do I have a knife? I don't know. L1, L1, L1,
What
L1.
I did is I went around and I slashed every zombie it came across, because if they're going to animate, they would moan and stand up. And I'm like, haha, I'm onto you.
Smart.
But
Smart.
If they, see, this is why I would survive in the zombie apocalypse.
No,
I
you have a
would.
terrible plan.
No,
Go-
I'm not sure about Costco anymore.
Thank
Give me a
you,
break.
fucking God.
It took
Someone
me,
talked
like
sense
8
into you.
years, but it's fine anyway. That's a long joke. Yeah, the game is really scary. In fact, I had to download Tales of Vesperia on my Switch as a little, palette cleanser.
Let me tell you how fucking weird it is to go from Resident Evil 2 all day or a day to Kingdom Hearts 3. It is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I needed this.
That's a shift, all right.
need
So
it.
much. And talking about like the weird graphic stuff, I forgot to bring this up earlier with Kingdom Hearts. I'm so upset it doesn't have HDR. It's like after all these years, like we have these issues. As great as the game looks, it's like there's so many issues where I'm like, I hate how the lighting looks. Like I'm like, this is fucking bullshit because RE2 looks so fucking
looks
good.
Looks amazing, yeah.
So good.
I've been playing on this big, like 120-inch projector. It's so fucking
Nice.
scary. It's so scary, and I don't recommend it at
I
all.
would go as far as saying that Resident Evil 2 remake is the scariest thing I've ever been a part of, movie otherwise, because the interactivity changes it so much, man. Like, and the fact that it was consistent throughout the 13 hours where I was still screaming and still scared that far into
And for me,
it.
that's my
Sure,
biggest
sure.
thing about it is that, on my second playthrough, with 30 minutes to go, I was
Yeah.
still terrified of a normal zombie NPC. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
It's just
When
so
you're-
good.
Well, I
in
guess
the
enemy. He
sewers,
wasn't like giving me anything.
when you're in the sewers and you first see that, like, you start walking and everything's blood red. And you're like, you hear things fucking slithering around. You're like, you're fine. But then those fucking, whatever they are,
The Gs.
the Gs
Little
start
G
coming up.
dolls.
You're just like, holy shit. Like, they feel so overwhelming to you. And you know you can run around them and you try your best. But, like, when they grab you, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And that game is so good because there are jump scares in this game.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not around every corner like some other games, horror games that you'll play, but it's the atmospheric tension in the building that this game does so well. It's the what if, like what's going to grab me around this corner.
The first time I'm getting chased by Mr. X,
yeah.
and I ran into like the weapons locker. I'm like, well, this room's too small, and he came in. I'm like, fuck!
And you hear him stomping around and opening, closing doors around
yeah.
you, and you're like, motherfucker.
I do wish the sound design was better. I was saying this last week, but I played a little bit more of RE2
Yeah.
because people were commenting, be like, "Oh, did you change the setting to this?" And I did already, but I tried like fucking around with stuff. Like the sound with headphones with Dolby Atmos stuff, it's not good. Like it's not. I mean, it's fine, it's serviceable, but it's not like this transformative experience of like I knew exactly where they were walking at me. Like hearing Mr. X run after you, I couldn't pinpoint where he was, and that's not good. Like that, I
interesting.
feel like is the easiest thing that you should be able to
Yeah,
nail.
I didn't have that issue.
Let me see if I have any more for us.
I'm just gonna take a look at the old internet here.
Let's see.
Looking at the internet, see what I got over
Internet.
here. Internet.
Got to do.
Evan
what
writes in and
internet
says, "Did Mr. X give it to you?" He did.
He gave it to me many a
absolutely.
time.
Anytime.
Fucking palming my head and lifting me up. I'm like,
I thought I
fuck.
was being cute and clever, and I was standing in the middle of a safe room, but the door was still open. I'm like, you can't get me, motherfucker. You fucking reach around and punch me in the face through the open door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nate writes in and says, "Will the next Resident Evil be third person or first person?"
So this is when it gets into what's next,
Yeah,
right? Are
yeah.
they going to branch into two different storylines? What's going on? Because I think they're going to continue remaking these games. I think this has been extremely successful for them, and the fact that who was it? I don't know who it was. The title of the guy who just said we will bring Resident
Game
Evil
director, yeah.
If fans want Resident Evil 3, they just got to let us know, and then we'll make it. That is such a PR answer because then they're making it.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't say
We do it.
We do it, yeah. So it's in development. So with that said, we know Resident Evil 8 is also in development. So I think where we're going to see are remakes and then going down the typical numbered Resident Evil installments.
I think the next one will be first person.
I think it will be too.
I think they're going to build off of Resident Evil 7. That's what they're going to go for.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, you saw the success of that, and they're like, fuck, awesome, let's keep going.
I think the remakes will continue to be over the shoulder.
Yeah.
The new ones first person.
So interesting because like as much as I want RE8 just because RE7 was great, I just feel like RE7 fell apart pretty quickly.
Oh, really?
I disagree.
Yeah, it's like because once you get to the end, like once and now
When
Chris
you're, on
is here.
when you're on the fucking
and now
boat,
all
yeah,
this
it's like,
stuff.
it does the thing we're talking about where it's like, wow, this is great. What a weird family. What's going on? Wait, what? Secret agents. What? I'm on a boat. Who's this girl? Why is this happening?
Yeah.
And then that's why I'm like, oh great, so now we're getting a sequel to that. Like that, I don't
so
like that.
That's the weird part, right? Is Resident Evil 7 was interesting in the sense that for the first time, this was before Resident Evil 2, it felt like a Resident Evil game in the sense of the atmosphere and the puzzles there were and the setting. It was kind of like, okay, this feels like a Resident Evil game, and for that I applauded it. But now after playing Resident Evil 2, I want much more of Resident Evil 2 formula than Resident Evil 7. And where, Resident Evil 7 left off, it leads you to believe that, there's not going to be another virus because there's someone out there outside the Baker state that is carrying it within them. And then maybe with Blue Umbrella now and Chris, I hope they take it back to those original characters.
Me too. I just think there's too much lore at that point where it's just like,
It's getting crazy.
I feel like with Resident Evil 8, we're getting to the point where I'm like, there's no way it's going to be as good as 7. I don't think it can because they're introducing too much shit. They're going to bring Chris back. They're going to turn it into this, it's going to be RE6 again. Maybe it'll be better than RE6, but it's going to be the RE7 mixed with RE6 formula. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, it does. No, I get you. I'm hoping now that Resident Evil 2 is out, it kind of complicates shit because it's so fucking good. But with Resident Evil 7, I was excited about it because I feel like it's taken it in the next good direction.
Yeah.
And with Chris at the end, it gives me hope that they're going to focus back on what made Resident Evil so special in the first place, the small cast of characters, these viruses. I'm hoping that's where they're going to go. But I don't think it could live up to Resident Evil 2, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's weird. It's going to be interesting.
It's whatever game comes next is in a huge shadow.
Oh, man.
Robert says, is there a menacing voice that says the title after you press start, like in the original?
After you finish the second scenario.
Which is awesome.
No shit, really?
I was so mad. I'm like, why would they not fucking do it?
So the second scenario is really cool because it keeps a lot of the old school scares in there, like the liquor crawling across the window in the lobby, and then the liquor in the hallway when you first go in there. A lot of it is just they went back to their roots. And so after you finish that and you push start, it goes Resident
Oh shit, I didn't even notice that. I'm gonna turn my headphones off.
And that made it all worth it.
Because the first time I pushed
it was things
start,
like that I was like, you have to beat the second one.
Yeah.
It's cool moments. And going back to that, did you feel there was enough different shit in scenario?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it felt way different, but because that was my thing. It was just as this is a question from Kind of Funny Games Daily, where a guy's like, everybody's giving the game for not doing enough. Isn't that bullshit because of this remake and that remake? I'm like, yeah, but those felt like remakes. Right. This game feels like a return to survival horror, and it's like you were saying, it's so easy to forget that no, this isn't a reimagining.
Right.
This isn't let's take all of the modern shit. Let's do something that is still classic. Yeah. And so just in my head, I always assumed at the beginning in PS1 when I picked Leon and I started playing, when I picked Leon and started playing, that if I would have picked Claire, the story would have been completely different. I would have followed her outside of it, and eventually I would have come to the fence and been like, oh my God, how are you? Oh, well, I gotta fucking do this. See you later. And it would have been not the exact same thing.
Right.
So that's all that is. The complaint in quotes isn't a complaint as much as it is just oh, that was unexpected. Mm-hmm. So playing through it again, there was totally different stuff, and I loved it giving me more information on the doctors, right? I got their relationship before, but introduced the kid and explained why she was connected and what she was doing and what the orphanage was. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Everybody should play it twice. I mean, that's the real game.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kind of Funny Gamescast, episode 207. Britt, thank you so much for
This has been so much fun.
It has.
Thank you for hanging out all
I could do
day.
this for a few more hours.
I'm telling you, just fucking leave What's Good.
We got to talk about it when we're not on
dead
camera.
in the water. I like saying it right now. What's happening on What's Good? They got a podcast coming up on Friday, don't they?
Yeah, we do. It was Alana Steimer and I.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
This week, because our good friend Andrea is in Sydney,
under.
Australia. Oh, riding kangaroos and shit.
governor.
Yeah. So she's there, but
I
we
would
really
pay money to watch Andrea Renee ride.
Dude, I would
kangaroo.
pay so much money. I would sell my house to see that shit happen. That would be so. Put John Drake in the pouch,
Hell
have him
yes.
bouncing around.
Let's
That'd be
go,
so
baby.
Good. Yeah.
Fan art right there. That's easy fan art for you to make and put up on Twitter.
Somebody please, for KFAF, just submit it. Don't let them know we're doing it. I want fan art. I want someone to draw a picture of
Andrea riding the kangaroo, John Drake in the pouch.
In the pouch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. But so not Kind of Funny. That's the wrong podcast. We're What's Good Games, and we release a show every Friday.
But you don't have to.
And
Be,
it's
you know
good.
what I mean?
You don't have to be there.
No,
Yeah.
I
You
know.
what
I
mean?
could come here. Apparently, Greg's. We were talking.
I remember years and years and years ago when we were doing the We're Alive podcast.
Oh, boy.
Oh my God.
When my roommate moved out, and I was like, you should just fucking move to San Francisco. And you're like, all right, I'll entertain it. How much is rent? And I gave it to you, and you literally went, hold on, I have to clean up the shit that I just shat.
Oh yeah. I mean, at that time, I was getting a 2-bedroom apartment for $600 a month,
Fuck
man.
you.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Good old Washington.
I hate you so much.
Oh, right.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just
I guess
saying.
not my
That's
water.
bad. That's bad.
Oh, we got a post show to do.
We
if
do.
you want to watch it, head over to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames where you can subscribe at the silver tier and get it as a video in MP3, however you want it.
Gia's picking me up, so.
Oh, here we go.
More
Fuck.
bourbon it is. Let's go, baby.
When's your flight?
What's your Twitter?
Blonde Nerd.
Blonde Nerd. Wait, what is your flight?
A 7:40.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, I would tell her. I would have her leave at 5:40.
Ladies and gentlemen, we love you. It's time for the post show. If you are a silver member, you get to see this. What, Kevin?
Nothing.
Kevin, why the size, man?
Why the oh my
Why the
gods?
cry size?
What
Kevin,
do I
tell
need
us.
to do to get you to play through RE2, Kev?
Are we in the post show now?
That's
Yeah, it's post
terrifying.
show time.